Bring in, as promised, Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Moore. Michael, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Keith.
There's been a spike in the desire to own guns in Connecticut. Statewide, over 90,000 guns have been authorized for sale. You know how I feel about it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Good evening, my fellow Americans and patriots. It's the hour. It's 9 p.m. here Central Standard Time, and you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. Call-in numbers are 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Lines are open. They are available. We're here to talk. We got some news to cover here in the first hour and second hour. Of course, it is Thursday. Oh, we're over that hump Wednesday. It is Thursday. We're cruising into the weekend. Getting ready to spend some time with our friends and family and everything. So as Prepper Recon, just IM'd me. That's what that beep was. He was telling me he's ready to go. He's ready to talk about all things prepping here in the second hour. He'll be joining us. It is Prepper Thursday. We talk about all things prepping. So it's only appropriate that I mention our good friends at MountainViewOffGridLiving.com. That's MountainViewOffGridLiving.com. Give them go out to their website, take a look, see what they have to offer. They have this special now. I was talking to Sue. She sent my can of meat, and this is not no ordinary can of meat. This is not Spam, green eggs and ham. No, this is real meat. This is the real deal. 15-year shelf life. Can you imagine that? Last week, if you missed last week's show with Prepper Recon, we talked about canning meats, and we were all getting hungry as we were listening. But the reality of it is that they, probably have about a 3-year shelf life. That's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. Considering you get superior meat that's not freezer burned or anything like that. And especially you have meat for those bug out moments. But 15 years. So she sent me a can of it. I am going to, even though she's a sponsor, because we're all, above board, we're gonna cook it up here at the house. I'm not gonna tell Sandy. Well, now she knows because she's listening to the show. But whoops, should dump the button on that one. But no, we're going to cook it up. We're going to take pictures and we're going to put it out on the web. And I'll honestly tell you what I think about it. From the pictures I've seen, oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry already. So we got some news to cover. Obviously, we're going to talk about some economic news. We do not have a tribute to the fallen. Once again, that's awesome, outstanding for the month of December. I have no soldiers to report. So that's great. That's just outstanding. The other thing we're going to talk about is this budget deal. It's another one. Get ready, America. Can't see it until we pass it. Remember that? And what's scary is the GOP's on it. They've already passed it in the House. Some of it's trickling out. Our veterans are getting hit pretty hard with it. But what do you expect? Goes to show you, that this administration, even the GOP, shame on them. Shame on them. You got Boner crying like a little baby, today. Actually, he was trying to be angry, but it was just whining. Wah, wah, wah. The reality of it is, these guys no longer serve us. They serve their masters, their money men. That's who they serve. They don't serve us. So, remember that when we take the polls. Elect real Americans like Rodney Conover. He's probably listening. I'm going to hear about that. Also, Stone Anthony, 2016 presidential Canada. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com.
Say that the stock market's gonna crash. They say that every single one of us is gonna let down while they walk across our back. But I'ma stand up. I'm gonna put my fists in the air. No, I don't wanna have to bring my guns, but I'll be ready if it goes there. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country, me and you right now. But I don't wanna. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there. 'Cause we're the epitome of what's left of the USA. We're hardworking, honest, and we make our money the good old-fashioned way. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. But get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country, me and you right now. But I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. Well, they say that the country's fine with a little hard work and prayer. We can get her back on her feet, 'cause I believe she belongs there. So let's stand her up and brush off the dirt and dust. A lady liberty needs our help from every single one of us. But you can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that tyranny is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Get what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country, need and you right now. But I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. But I don't wanna. No, I don't wanna. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there, yeah. So let's stand up, put our fists in the air. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns. No, we don't wanna have to bring our guns, but we'll be ready if it goes there. Ready if it goes there. Ready if it goes there. Be ready if it goes.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join me live. It's live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web 24/7 at www.themidnightpatriot.com, and also now on patriotfb.com. That's Patriot FB, the one, the only site for real Patriot social media and commentary. We, if you notice there, you'll see a link. It says podcast/radio. You click on that. Actually, right mouse click and say open a new window. That way you can listen to the show and then also go back and do all of your social media and your typing, your posting of stories, your putting up memes and stuff. You know, we're growing. You know, we kind of put the tank on it a little bit. You know, throttled it down a little bit until we got our servers moved up, and so we're working. You know, just trying to test things out and everything. But the site's up and running. It's there. It's taking requests. We are signing on. If you haven't gone out to the patriotfb.com, you can log in with your Facebook account. I, though, would recommend that you don't do that. And let me tell you why. Because it happened to me, the whole reason that I got off of Facebook, besides, you know, the NSA snooping, the fact that they're selling the data to, you know, to other companies, the fact that I'm always getting, you know, hit with images that are inappropriate from girls who want to befriend me. You know, I'm flattered, but, you know, not interested. Not saying I'm not interested in girls, but for those that know me, you know, Sandy, I've been together quite a long time, and I'm very happy, thank you, and everything. So, you know, got tired of that. Got tired of being put in Facebook jail and having to go in front of the parole board, and you know, it's pretty bad. So we created patriotfb.com. So, but I would recommend, if you are going to sign up, you can use your social media site. That's perfectly fine. You can link back to your Facebook social media information, have that posted on the patriotfb.com as well. But I would recommend that you probably log in with your normal credentials, because it did happen to me early in the week where Facebook was blocking my ability to log in to my site, and that's not good. So I would recommend that. If you're an existing Patriot FB member and you're listening and stuff, I would also recommend that you go in there and fill out your profile section, get a password in there and all that too. That's secondary, so that way you can log in without your Facebook account as well, just as a backup and everything. But you know, the good news is you know, we do own the site, we do own the database and stuff. So if there is an issue with you logging in, we'll help you. And unlike Facebook, where you fill out a form and it goes in some black hole somewhere, you never get a response, or the response you get is that your account's been terminated, and stuff. We will get back to you. So there's some great things. There I am again. My buddy, I got to give some shouts out. I know George is listening. George, thanks, pal. Thanks for listening. It means a lot to me. The other thing too is I got a phone call from another friend, Craig. Craig called me, and you know, Craig, if you're listening, once again, thanks. You know, thank you for your support and stuff. Now, one of the things that Craig said is that, and I agreed with him, because I catch myself doing it all the time. You know, I mean, there's a few words that I use over and over and over again, and you know. Unbelievable. The unbelievable, though, is an inside story, or there's an inside joke there. I had a really good friend, very close friend, very dear friend, who passed away, and one of his things is he always used to, you know, say unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Every time you talk to him, you'd say, hey, you know, I was walking down and I reached in my pocket, I had 25 cents in my pocket, you know, and he'd go, unbelievable. Or you know, I'm about 15 minutes late for work. Unbelievable. You know, that's how he did. So every time I say unbelievable, it's kind of a tribute to my buddy, who is no longer with us. So, you know, it just brings a smile on my face. And I don't know if you guys notice, a little bit more cheery today, you know, and it's not because of anything special happened. Well, it did. Today was a special day. I woke up, you know. Anytime you wake up on this side of the dirt, it's a pretty good day. So I woke up today, and but no, more importantly, you know, last night's show, I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to listen to it. If you go to the podcast/radio section, now, of course, tonight's show is being broadcast now, but there is a way that you can listen to previous shows here at the Midnight Patriot. What I would do, go to podcast/radio, right mouse click, and say open link in new tab, right? Now, once you do that, that's going to open up the new player. Well, see the three little bars? You know, you got the little arrow and then you got the little heart. You can heart us too. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we're secure enough in our manlyhood here at the Midnight Patriot Radio Show podcast that I don't care. You can heart us. That'd be cool. But no, I digress. So what you do is you click on those three arrows, and that will actually bring up all of our tracks, all of our shows, our past shows and stuff. So you can go back. Last night's show with Joe was incredible. I don't know if you guys listened to it. It was a great show. It's exactly what we want here at the Midnight Patriot. Now, we bring in guests, and we have great great guests, weekly guests and stuff. And, we're going to mix it up a little bit more. We're going to have some more guests and stuff. But last night's show, Joe Sullivan was joined us, and you can actually go out to the Midnight Patriot, patriotfb.com, and he was on the show, and it was out. I had a great time. And I just want to say, when you feel like you're getting down and out and stuff, that whole saying, let go, let God, sometimes we do. We got to let go, let God, let him put people in our way, in our place and stuff that will motivate us. And last night's show I don't know what it did, just woke me up. So, that's why I have a little vigor today and everything. So, it was a good day today. It was a really good day. So we got the podcast radio link up, and you can actually go. But like I said, right mouse click and say open it up in a new link. That way you can then browse into another browser. And everything. Now we are going to be adding a pop-up and all that stuff, but come on, give me a little bit of time. Give me a little bit of time to recoup from all the coding we did over the week and everything. So good times. So, if you'd like to join us, you can give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. Follow the prompts, and you will be put in queue, and we'll get you on the air. If, for whatever reason, you're bashful, I understand. Some people are. You can actually join us at patriotfb.com. We actually have a chat room open right now called the Midnight Patriot. You click on that, and that will allow you to actually chat with everybody. If you would like to talk to me personally during the show, distract me, please. During the show, you can actually click on my name and, of course, send me a private message. I'd love to talk to you. And we do watch what's being done there, or what's being said there, so we try to cover that in. There you go. Yeah, I agree, Joshua. It was a great show. And I look forward to many more. And actually, to be honest with you, Joe, we are talking about giving him a show. He's going to, we have great plans here. Not only is this a social media site, we are putting in a job board. We are going to be putting in also a business board. Businesses, Patriot businesses can be listed on here, so that we can, we're going to build a community, people. I don't know if you guys realize that. We are going to build a Patriot community, and it's going to happen. Now, you can be a part of it, you can get on board, you can be a part of it, and contribute, because it's going to be something. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great time. But, so that's some of the things that are coming down the pipe, some of the enhancements. We are going to be adding also I'm looking at the beta code now. We are going to be putting in a document system, so you can post documents, which is very important, because when we talk about things on the show, it's important to be able to go out to those documents and actually read them for yourselves. And actually, we get, because of FOIA requests and all that, we actually get some documents that you will not see in mainstream media. And it's interesting stuff. So that's also coming down the pipe for patriotfb.com. And, this is a site for you guys. This is your opportunity. This is, we've always said, We are just the tracks here. You are the train. Your message, the message of freedom and being a patriot is the train. We're just going to make sure you go in the right direction and that you get there on time. And because time is running out here, it's really running out when the GOP and sells the American people down the road. This budget deal, and then you got Boner up there crying, whining. He's not crying. He's mad. I'm mad. Well, Boner, we're pissed off too. We're pissed off too. You and your cohorts have sold the conservative right down the river. I no longer associate myself with you, with your party. I no longer have anything to do with you. I'm definitely not going to vote liberal, though. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm going Rachel Maddow on you. I'm not. I'm going to vote liberal. I'm a Tea Party conservative. I'm a libertarian. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. I'm going to vote for the person who I feel is going to run our country like I have to run my home, my house. We all make mistakes. I get it. I'm not perfect. But I've come to the conclusion that the GOP, they're not making mistakes. They're looking out for themselves. They're looking out for themselves. And they sure in the heck don't have the American people at heart. They can say, let's just talk about it. $7 trillion instantly added to the national debt. $7 trillion. $7 trillion. $7 trillion. I'm going to say that over again. When this president took office, the presidency, about $10 trillion is what the total debt from the beginning. And let me kind of explain this to you. From the beginning of America to all the way up to President Barack Obama, $10 million debt, or $10 trillion in debt. The numbers are so astronomical I can't even keep it straight in my head. 10 trillion with a T, right? When this president leaves office, it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. GAO is saying it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 22 to 24 trillion dollars. He doubled it. And the GOP's helping him. And of course you got Boner up there going, I'm mad. I'm fighting mad. I'm mad. Because the Tea Party just won't get on board. Well, you know what? We're mad too. We're mad that you have basically sold the future of our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. To the end of time, because the number is so astronomical, it can never be paid back. It can never be paid back. And you just keep on adding to it. And then on top of that, your budget. This is the damning thing as it leaks out there. If you're a veteran in our armed services, I am sorry. I'm sorry that this administration has denied you the respect that you deserve. I am sorry that this administration, this government, has turned its back on the veterans when they shut the monuments down. I am sorry, and I apologize for the fact that this government, not this administration, this government is now going to deny you your pension up to 20%. That's right. In this bill, they are going to be cutting benefits to our soldiers, to our veterans, those that serve 20 years or more, the retirees. They're going to be cutting their pensions by 20%. Now, Paul Ryan, and Paul, I just got to say this to you. I did respect you. I saw you, you know, and you were there in Racine and you're walking through and you're shaking everybody's hands and doing all that. And, you know, I kind of like, you know, look, no more though. No more. You're on the list. Why don't you just go ahead and go on over there with Obama? Hey, do you know what? Maybe you guys can shack up together. And so, because something tells me after this weekend, watching President Obama with the prime minister, the Danish prime minister, something tells me he's sleeping on the couch. Did you guys see that? His flirting, his open flirting with the Danish prime minister. And then, did you see the pictures of Michelle Obama's face? Wasn't too happy. I don't know about you. I really don't. But something tells me you do not want to upset Michelle Obama. She had that look on her face like she could rip your head off and do some pretty nasty things. And it got to the point, I don't know if you saw the last picture, where she actually sat between them. Yeah. So our president, but you know, what do you expect? I mean, what truly, what do you expect from this guy? You know, he's acting like a dictator. That's what dictators do. It's great to be the king. Remember that? Well, some of you guys probably never watched that movie, History of the World. It's great to be the king. So, you know, I don't mean to joke about a serious issue, but it is a serious issue. This administration, this government has now cut 20% of the benefits. My father served 22 years, retired Air Force. Proud of him. Proud of him. Proud of everything he did for this country and his service to this country. You know, they're cutting benefits. Now, they're not going to cut, you know, I think is if you're under the age of 65. So they're going to, once again, they're going to put it on the backs of the younger people, of the younger, you know. Just crazy. Just insane. You know, this government's just completely out of order. Out of order. When we get back, you know, we have some more news. You know, besides the budget deal, obviously. We'll be talking about Fukushima. Talked about that extensively, but you know, we need to report on it because mainstream media is not telling you. We need to tell you. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show and podcast. Join us live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, and on the web 24/7 at www.themidnightpatriot.com.
We need a hero, someone to save us from ourselves and our own self-destruction. God only knows we need help. Looking for a hero, someone who cares about the future, not about themselves, but about the idea of America. We need a hero, someone to show the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America.
out-of-control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. Give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. As I said right before we went off to the break, it is Thursday, and that can only mean one thing. That is Prepper Thursday, Prepper Recon. Mr. Mark, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Good, man. Good.
I felt bad because I haven't talked to you at all on Facebook all week because I've been over here at patriotfp.com. And
I've been over there.
Oh yeah. I've seen you pop in once or twice. I have. Thank you.
Did you see my post today?
No, I did not.
I put a post up to talk about what I was going to be talking about on the show tonight, and I'm going to be talking about pellet guns and why you should ask Santa Claus for a pellet gun.
Oh yeah.
And I promise you won't shoot your eye out. And I had a picture of Ralphie from Christmas Story, and he's got an AR-15 with a EOTech sight on the top, reflex sight on the top.
Yep.
And you just see him like peeking through that, and I picked out because there's a few Ralphies with the AR-15,
yep.
And the one I have up on Prepper Recon right now, it's got all the OD green Magpul furniture on it. So, and I know you don't really like Magpul, so I found the one and it had the EOTech on the top, and it's got a 4-rail free float handguard on it, and I thought, well, this is the one Jeff would like.
This is, and you know what?
You can't visibly the stock may be Magpul, but I'll tell you right now, the handguard is not. So
it's an MOE. Yeah, it's a Magpul MOE hard. But look, all right. So before I get in trouble and before I get Paul, calls and says, "What? Come on, Jeff. What the WTF?" It's not that I don't like Magpul. I've had problems with their magazines. Like most people, that have had issues with their magazines, where they, having issues. They tend to swell. But all polymer magazines. So let's be fair. All polymer magazines have that tendency to swell when they're under heat, and when you're doing rapid fire and stuff. So that's why the good old military still stands by the standard tin, the metal mags. I mean, but I don't want to defame anybody. Now, thanks, man. I'm gonna have Paul calling me going.
But they're a stand-up company though.
Yeah, they are.
They left Colorado.
Yes.
They said they would not sell. I think they signed that act that they would not sell to any law enforcement agencies in states that if you ban it for the civilian, then they wouldn't sell to your police forces in those states.
Yep. No,
there was a bunch of companies that did that.
I know.
And it was great.
I know. You might want to go look at the list there, Mark.
I've got the list. Somewhere on my site, I wrote a post on it way back in the day. But
there's probably a familiar name on there.
Who's the familiar name?
I don't know. Go look at the list.
Oh, I got to dig it up. Just tell me.
No, we gotta go. Just go look at the list. I'm not gonna say anything. And so we made a conscious effort not to cross promote and everything. So but it's crazy. So no, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the rails. I'm digging that AR. I really am. That's a Spikes lower. Spikes tactical lower.
Yes. Yeah.
As you're looking on the list, aren't you? You're digging it up, aren't you?
Oh no, I Spikes on there.
That lower that Ralphie's shooting. That's a Spikes tactical lower.
Yes.
And so I'm very familiar. So so we're going to talk about pellet guns, which actually is a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe that I haven't come up with that idea before, because I actually have pellet guns. I shoot them in my house. They're great for practicing and everything. They're cheap. I don't want to say cheap. They're inexpensive.
You can turn your bedroom into an indoor range.
Well, if you're single.
Yeah.
if you got a significant other, that might be a little difficult. I don't know. I don't know, Sandy.
Sometimes you just have to make compromises. You have to watch a couple Bonnet movies if you can shoot the pellet gun inside.
That's right. I hear you. So pellet gun. So what do you recommend? What are you recommending?
Well, I have the Hornet, the Gamma Hornet.
Sure.
You can get it on Amazon for $89.99. And the great thing about a pellet gun is, ammo is so prohibitively expensive right now, and range fees. If you live in the city, range fees can really get up there too. And by the time you have to get out there, get to the range, buy your ammo, pay the range fees, everything else, it can really set you back. So a lot of people don't train at all, or train once a year or twice a year or something like that, because it's just too expensive, or they don't have the time. Now, if you got a pellet gun, maybe you can't get away with shooting it in the bedroom, but if you've got a fence and everything, you can probably get away with it in the backyard.
Yeah. Well, there are. It's crazy now. I mean, there are some city ordinances. You need to check with your city ordinance, because I live in a city in which it is illegal to shoot any pellet gun or archery, bow, and obviously a firearm within city limits. So you have to be, check. I put that disclaimer out there. Please check with your local city ordinances. So, but I shoot all day.
Just the same thing that with everything that I recommend, whether it's catching water or putting up a solar panel, or I guess you probably have to, where you live, I guess you probably have to pull a permit to can turkey.
Yeah, well, it's pretty bad.
From the sounds of it, and it's like that all over. It is.
It's like, I can see Johnny Spot Cop. What you got? What you got there, boy? What you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. And stuff. It was funny. One of my side ventures that I do is being in Wisconsin. I have some really good friends who are beer makers. They make beer and stuff at some of the micro breweries and everything. So they got me hooked into making beer, and it was hilarious. Well, I did the beer thing for 2 to 3 years and did some really nice beer and made some sake and enjoyed it and everything. But then I got hooked into a book called Alcohol as a Gas. And I started to research how to make my own ethanol, and everything, and it wasn't for drinking. I'm not a drinker. Those days are long gone for me. I might have a beer here and there, but I'm not a drinker. So I'm not making moonshine tonight. So don't be calling ATF or anybody like that. But I did look at making my own ethanol for my car. Even I made sure my cars that I purchased were all E85 compatible and everything. So because I figured if we ever ran out of gas, I could, within a couple of weeks, I could actually make up a pretty good batch of ethanol to burn and stuff. So
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, it is, but you don't want to do that in your basement.
I bet it's got a little bit of an odor.
It does when the corn and the sugar and everything is fermenting and doing its little reproducing, as they would say, my beer buddies would say, it's it's making sugar and farting and reproducing. That's what the yeast does. It does put off a pretty potent, especially when you're doing large batches, when you're doing like 50-gallon drums or 55-gallon drums of it at a whack. And, and so, 55 gallons of will make about 5, you're going to get about 5%. So that there's not a whole lot, you're going to get, but it's free. If it's free because, the corn mash and stuff you can pick up around here for next to nothing. The water is next to, you throw some yeast in there and, if you get 5 of those things going, you can probably produce about 10 gallons of ethanol, in a matter of a week. So I don't know about you, $10 free gas is kind of not a bad deal.
And it's a good bartering chip because, honey, I'll take the still out of the basement if you let me put in an indoor range.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Okay, do it.
That's right.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's true. So we shoot. Actually, my first, my youngest daughter, that's how she learned. We set up a range inside and, and we shot at it and you can get, pellet, deflectors or, traps. Pellet traps, relatively easy. You can make them even cheaper, but yeah, no, I'm a big fan of pellet guns.
And and it keeps your trigger finger in shape, and and you get a little trigger time. And you can do that. You can do that every other weekend in the backyard or the basement or wherever, as long as you're within regulations or not getting caught. And you don't get the recoil and all of the other things. So there's a lot of things that you're not getting. But now there's a good side to that too, because a lot of times people, when they pull the trigger, they're anticipating the recoil, and they'll actually pull up on the weapon before the recoil ever hits. And now if you're shooting a pellet gun all the time and there's no recoil, you get used to pulling that trigger and not having the recoil, and you don't anticipate recoil when you do get to the range and you do pull the trigger on your rifle, and you've just got that memory muscle of not anticipating recoil anymore.
Yep. And
so that's a really good thing about it. And the other thing is, if you're in a city and you do have some type of a really bad grid down scenario, and you run out of your canned turkey and your canned mojo pork that we made last week, most everybody's got squirrels or raccoons or some type of birds, that are running around their yard. Here in South Florida, we've even got iguana, and possum. I'm not looking forward to eating possum, but you know what? I'll eat possum before I eat dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. So, I mean, well, and that's the thing though, is a lot of people think that the pellet guns you can get high powered. I mean, we're talking high power pellet rifles, that you can not, there's a 50, I can't remember the manufacturer, but they make a 50 caliber pellet gun, and you can deer hunt with it. You can actually bag large game with it.
Wow.
Now, don't get caught with it trying to hunt large game with it. In some states it's illegal because you got to have so much, but the velocity's enough and everything that you could actually hunt with it. And a 50 cal, can you imagine a 50 caliber pellet? Well, a 50 cal is only a half inch. I mean, that's what it means is point.
Yeah, but I can't imagine having to cock that thing.
Well, these things come. Well, they come with like a CO2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The CO2.
It must be the size of like a diving.
Well, yeah, it goes in your. What it does is it goes into it goes into the butt side. Well, here's one right here. I'm just looking at it. Here's a Camel Sniper. It's a .25, so that's a 1/4 inch diameter round, and it's for $349. Wow. And it's a sniper, and it's super quiet. So, I'm not, I still keep my AR and my Barrett and all my other things and stuff, but a pellet rifle is not a bad investment, especially the higher caliber ones. I mean, they will do do what you need to do. And you know what? If you live in a state in which you can't buy a suppressor or own a suppressor and stuff, it's all air. It's suppressed already. It already comes suppressed. So, so I'm just, I gotta look at how many feet per second you got me
even
going.
Even if you're out in the country where it's okay to have your any type of weapon or anything, and you're in that grid down scenario, you may not want to broadcast your position. You may not want to broadcast that you're around, much less that you're out there taking game. So once again, you've got that quietness factor. It's very, very good.
Yeah. Well, this one does 750 feet per second. Now, archery, a bow will only do 350, at the top end. I think my Struthers bow, I can get it cranked out to about 320 feet per second. So this thing is a quarter inch at 750 feet per second.
Wow.
That's going to knock something down,
Wow.
and it's air. And this is just one example, and it's $300 or whatever. So, yeah, no, I'm actually very happy that we're talking about air guns, because I think they're a valuable tool as a backup, and especially, like I said, if you need, like you said, if you're out hunting and you don't want to broadcast where you're at and stuff like that, because that crack of that rifle will go for miles, and ATF. It was funny because I live in a state with the proper forms and stuff. You can have a full automatic, and you also have a silence, and a fully automatic weapon makes a distinctive sound. And law enforcement, for some strange reason, they can, if you're out there shooting in a field or whatever, even though you're on your own property, you can pretty much guarantee they're going to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that happen before. I was shooting a Daniel Defense that was a full auto, and had all the paperwork. We were well within our right, legally and stuff. But sure enough, a sheriff showed up, and we were on private property. And they came storming there, because someone's shooting a fully automatic. And it's like, well, of course we are, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
So, but
why else would you want one?
Yeah.
You got to shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to have, well, I tell people, you want to waste $100, get a full auto, you'll go through $100 basically in under a minute easily. So, but
faster than scratch tabs.
But exactly. But it's fun.
Absolutely.
But that's
more fun than a scratch tab.
That's right. That's more of a topic for Munitions Monday that we're doing here. So prepper. So, no, I like Ralphie's. I like that Ralphie picture. I'm gonna have to snag that from you.
It's yours. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really.
And Christmas is a great time to get your kids a pellet gun.
Yes.
And it's a great way to train up the youngsters with shooting techniques and safety and all of that. And even with just the cheapo $89.99 Gammo pellet gun. Yep. You can still get the little hunting pellets, you get the little ballistic PBA ammo for them, or you get the ones that have the little actually ballistic tip ones. I don't know if they really expand like you're going to get out of a ballistic tip 223 or 5.56, but I suppose for a squirrel, I guess they do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then you can just get the cheap ammo, the box of 1,000 rounds for $10.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people, they think pellet gun is and you're absolutely correct. I think it's a great beginner, because one of the biggest problems that especially people have never shot before, people starting out, Sandy was always afraid of guns. Her father had shotguns and stuff, and she was always afraid of them. And when she would, when I tried to get her to go to range and shoot with me, she just wouldn't do it because the noise would scare her. And I finally had her, she went to the range with me. I had a 300 Blackout, that we actually donated to the Wounded Warrior. And so we were down at the range, and everybody was shooting the 300 Blackout, which is an AR-15 style with a 300, which is a 30-06, basically a 30-06 round, and you don't have to change out the AR. So we're shooting, and she got comfortable. Well, some I'll just behave. I won't say it. But some guy just thought it would be funny that he pulled out this freaking elephant gun. The Kasul round and stuff, and shot that right next to her. And needless to say, she's never been back to the range. The noise scared her so much that she just wouldn't do it. And that's one of the biggest complaints, especially with people learning for the first time, is that noise does, and the recoil also scares them. So a pellet gun will get people adjusted. Like I said, my daughter, I bought her a pellet gun. I think we went to Walmart and bought her a $20 Crossman. The kind of you cock back and which is very similar, which is really cool because she didn't know it, but I had a Browning 22 for a competition pistol for her that she was getting as a gift. And so this one was similar in action and everything for that. So, we sat down here, we had fun. And then, of course, then she got her 22, and now the air gun is put away, and the 22 is, but with the cost of 22 ammo these days, and if you can find it, we might have to bring out the pellet gun. So, but yeah, she, very, very, very proud of her and everything. So, so pellet with Ralphie. I'm looking at this picture of Ralphie. I can see that. You shoot your eye out, kid. I love. We talk about the holiday season. The holiday season does not start here at the Norton House until we see the Christmas Story and also the Grinch. And when we see those two, then we're the tree goes up, the lights go on, and all that stuff. So we're.
And I have some of I've got the Grinch. I've got a lot of the classics on DVD. I've got the Drummer Boy.
Yeah.
The little claymation Drummer Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you ever seen Nestor, the long-eared donkey?
Nestor? No.
Oh, my gosh. It's the best Christmas cartoon you're ever going to watch. You're going to cry. And you don't have to tell me, and you don't have to tell anybody on Patriot FB or Midnight Patriot that you cried, but you have to watch it, and you're gonna cry.
Is it sad?
It's touching. Yes, there's a sad part in it. There's a really sad part. But anyway, he's the donkey, and he gets made fun of because he's got these long ears, and he gets kicked out of his stable, and it's sad. I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but he's the donkey that ends up carrying Mary into Bethlehem.
I got you. Nestor, the long-eared
donkey,
Christmas donkey.
The long-eared Christmas donkey.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's made by the same group that made the Jules Bass, the same directors that made the Little Drummer Boy. So it's that same type of sort of claymation, similar to like Rudolph.
Gotcha.
You've seen that old Drummer Boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The stop animation, all the that.
Yeah.
Those are
and that
awesome.
one I cry on that one too.
Okay. No, those are awesome. 1 foot in front. No, I won't sing.
The little lamb gets ran over. He takes the little lamb to Jesus. And
stop. See, last week you were making everybody hungry, and now this week you're making everybody sad. What's up with that?
Now I'm going to make everybody cry.
What's up with that?
But it's a good cry. Sometimes you need to cry and get it out, because we've been angry all year. So, now we can cry and start over with a fresh heart for the new year. That's important.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm looking on YouTube. I'm looking to post it up on the site, because we do have a very extensive video collection, which is getting bigger every day, of videos and such. So we'll.
Now, speaking of crying, did you go to Mandela's memorial service?
No.
What are you a racist?
I'm a teabagger racist.
I heard you talking earlier about Michelle. That, my goodness, what a look, huh?
Oh, not what a look. Several.
Look to kill.
Yes,
my
several.
Goodness.
Obama,
he was having a good old time taking selfies and all of that, huh?
It was like he's in college.
Oh my gosh, it was like a frat party for him.
He's home. Well, he's not Kenya, but he's in Africa. He's home.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, he's home.
He can smell the rainforest or whatever, and
You know what was amazing? We were talking about this. They, in Africa, they were saying that there was basically no security, none whatsoever. And everybody's like, and all the Americans are like, oh my gosh, and I kind of looked at it going, well, that just kind of goes to show you that we really don't need all this stuff, that we do. I mean, you had basically all the world leaders that could, freely travel outside of the country without fear of being assassinated by our government or a government similar to us. They were there and they had zero security. They had no.
Yeah. You don't need them.
They don't need them.
At least now that Mandela's dead, you don't need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that guy, let me tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once he was in jail, he formed the MK, which was the terrorist arm of the African National Congress, and of course he was a member of the African Communist Party as well. But while he was in jail, he masterminded some of the most horrific terrorist bombings that you can imagine. Now I understand you're under an apartheid, and I have absolutely no love for any oppressive government, regardless of what color their skin is or anything else. And I absolutely back everybody's God-given rights to defend themselves and to fight against tyranny anywhere on the planet. But you have to draw the line. You can't be lighting off bombs in shopping malls and supermarkets and movie theaters and banks and railway stations. And this is some of the stuff that he was signing off on in masterminding. Yeah. I think that Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon should go back and do like a prequel of Invictus. And maybe it could be Morgan Freeman's in jail, and and he's masterminding all of this stuff. And of course, Matt Damon would be just a little child, and maybe Matt Damon's mom is has just dropped him off at rugby camp, and she's stopping by the grocery store in Pretoria, South Africa, to pick up some donuts for little Maddie after he gets done with rugby practice. And all of a sudden, boom, the Mandela's bomb goes off in the middle of the square. And I mean, if you saw those pictures from the May 20th, 1983 car bombing in Pretoria, South Africa, it would just sicken you.
Yeah.
That all of the national media just poured over this guy like he's some kind of a hero. That bombing killed 19 civilians. It didn't. He didn't do their. He wasn't like a Timothy McVeigh that's blowing up the IRS building or making some kind of a statement out of the place that he's attacking. It's just this random bombing in the middle of the square. It wounded another 217 people, lots of women and children. And the pictures show just these torsos, like headless, limbless, burnt up, seared up torsos, just like laying around on tarps from this bombing. It's horrific, and it will turn your stomach if you've never really seen anything horrific. This is way worse than anything you saw in the pictures in the Boston bombing. Yeah. It was horrific. And you think, where was Obama? Shouldn't have he had some kind of a big thing like this for bin Laden? Because what's the difference in the types of bombings that Mandela signed off on, and the types of and flying the planes into the Twin Towers?
Yeah. Yeah,
there's absolutely no difference.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of, like I said, our, popular media and stuff has portrayed Mandela as this, peace-loving, nation uniting, especially with the movie they did, Victoria. And that was my exposure to it. So I was like, oh, this guy's a, pretty cool dude. And then I started, to actually read, about him after he died, and then I was like, oh, I did not know his history, And I was shocked. I mean, it was just and then you're absolutely correct is the fact that then you had Obama saying, well, we need to fly the flags at half staff, and there were several sheriffs and stuff that were like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to honor this terror. I mean, he was a terrorist. He was on the United States terrorist watch list, and it's great. It's great that he pentenced himself after he became in power and stuff. And whatever, but you can't disregard the fact that you're absolutely right. He was an advocate for blowing up bombs in public thing. But what do you expect out of this president, considering that that Bill Ayers, that this president launched his campaign out of Bill Ayers' home in Chicago, which is same thing, the weatherman. Bill Ayers.
He bombed. He was. Well, I don't know if he was there, but he participated in his book. He wrote his own book, his autobiography, Fugitive Days.
Yeah.
He said that he bombed the New York Police Department headquarters.
Yep.
The U.S. Capitol building, and the Pentagon.
Yep.
The same as Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that Obama would be there and be beholden to this guy as some type of an idol to him. Sure, absolutely, he had to be a big influence.
Well, only the thing is, as long as it gets their message across, it's okay. It's okay to kill innocent people. I mean, talk about killing innocent people. You hear about the drone strike today? 15 innocent people going to a wedding. They were and of course our government, and they wonder why people over in the Middle East
hate us. Yeah. Why do they hate us? Because we're free.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hate us because we're free. They want us to not be free.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's look, my policy on my foreign policy would be
they hate us because of our values.
Yeah. They have
What values? What values?
Yeah.
We're the number one exporter of pornography in the globe.
Yeah.
We have one of the highest divorce rates in the world.
Yep.
We've slipped from number 1 in education to number 18.
Yeah.
What values are they jealous and hate us over?
Yeah. Well, I think they're upset with Miley Cyrus. They really are. Her tweaking's got to stop.
Then they've got a point. Then I can sympathize.
And you're absolutely correct. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people don't realize that, the values that, we want to, if I was a foreign leader in a foreign land and they came over and they said, we want to bring the Western values over to you, I would be saying, no way. I don't want them. keep them there. We like our kids to grow up as children and be kids and enjoy their life. We don't want them to be, dressed like hookers and, and parade around like idiots and think that the only way that they get they move up in life is if they post some YouTube video of them either stripping or beating someone up or something of that nature. That's no, we don't want that. We don't want those values. Just keep them. Keep them where they're at.
No thanks.
Yeah. And just talk about value. Like I said, look at our president. He was taking selfies with at a funeral. At a funeral, he was. The way I look at it is that I think he was just happy to be out of the United States. It was, it's been about 3 months since since him and Michelle they've had a vacation. So, I think he was just happy to, next week he's going to be on Carnival Cruise Lines and, sailing in the Caribbean, kind of chilling, with his Mai Tai and everything. I don't know. It's just.
Well, he deserves it. He works hard, doesn't he? So I was watching the protests in Kiev, Ukraine, on Fox News last night.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. They don't play that on Fox.
No, they did it on RT. I was watching on RT.
They're Fox News. They're still trying to convince me that Obamacare's a train wreck, and that I shouldn't vote for him. And you know what? I was on the fence until last night, and then after them kicking that dead horse for the past 16 weeks, I said, you know what? I'm not going to vote for Obama.
Yeah.
I decided I'm not.
You decided. Well, good.
And then there's the Christians and the Muslims are really going at it in the Central African Republic.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they're butchering each other, and what else is going on in world news? Oh, the Saudis and the Israelis they're friends now because they're hating America together because we signed off on the Iranian nuclear program.
Yep.
So they're friends now. So I think that in geopolitical terms, that's cats and dogs living together.
Yes.
So this is it. This is the end. The end is nigh. I'm just going to get out my sandwich board and start walking the streets, ringing the bell.
Yep.
The end is nigh. The end is nigh.
It is, and it is. A lot of that is a very telling statement. Is the fact that the Saudis and the Israelis, they actually are coming together, and if because of Iran, obviously the Saudis though don't. They have a common enemy, but they don't have a common position. See what I'm saying? Is that it's not coming from, well, these are evil regimes and we need to get rid of them or whatever. This is, the Israelis are against it because they know firsthand that Iran's going to light them up the first chances they get with a nuke. The Saudis are against them because of the Sunni and the Shia conflict has been going on ever since the death of Muhammad, the prophet. So yeah, it's, talk about end times. I don't know if you heard last night's show. We were actually talking about the guillotine. I have not yet found the articles on the guillotine. I'm still looking for the requests on the guillotines, and I have not yet been able to find them yet. That came up in topic last night on the other show, and we're talking about end times and everything. So, but it's. I don't know. I don't know if you know this. And it's, Biden got out of having to buy a gift for the president because did you not hear that they don't exchange Christmas presents?
Who do they celebrate? Kwanzaa?
I don't know.
Because they've got some really nice Kwanzaa stamps over at the post office. Let me tell you what. They're just fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, they're in a press conference today. They were asking, they had Joe Biden and St. Ain't So Joe and President Barack Obama. They were together on the East Lawn or whatever, and they said, "Well, what do you guys exchange for Christmas?" And they're like, "We don't exchange presents on Christmas holiday," which is telling, which is very telling in itself, is the fact that they don't celebrate a Christian. I'm sure Joe Biden does. I think it's more coming from the president.
Yeah,
but it's so yeah, Joe got out of having it was funny because the Fox was reporting it. It was like, well, what do you give? What do you give the president of the United States? And it was funny because Sandy and I both said it at the same time. The Constitution. We said it, they're like, what do you give the president of the United States for Christmas? It's like, well, the United States Constitution. Why, here, put down "'Twas the night before." I'll shut up. I'll behave. And here's the United States Constitution. You might want to read it, Mr. President.
Yeah,
I want to have a little refresher course there. But
he's supposed to be a constitutional attorney.
Oh,
but you know what? They say the devil knows the Bible better than any preacher that's ever walked the earth. So.
Exactly. You know what? Yeah, okay. Academia is these guys. I'll behave. I digress.
So are we going to get a budget? I don't know because I've been watching Fox.
It passed in the Senate, it passed in the House overwhelmingly. And now it's going to the Senate. They're saying that they might not have the votes in the Senate.
Wow.
You might see. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to see the first nuclear option be actually deployed in the Senate because I know Ted Cruz and I know that those guys are against it, obviously, and it's just. This budget deal is just it instantly adds $7 trillion to the deficit.
Nice. Fire it up.
Yeah, that's not a budget. That's a credit card. That's an American Express Black.
Yeah.
It's just and then you have Boner. What a name, Boner. I'm fighting mad. It's like, well, we are too. We're not happy ourselves here in
Those are tears of anger.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was one of those things where they you got to pass it before you see it, kind of thing. Got to pass it before we know what's in it. So it's now coming out, and the first thing that I grabbed a hold of today on the budget. I haven't read the rest of it, but they're cutting the benefits, the retiree benefits of the military by they're estimating about 20%. Because they're no longer going to give cost of living increases. And the way that the Fed's printing money, they're not going to get any kind of inflationary increase. And so they're saying that an average soldier who retires now, that estimates out to about $80,000 that they're cutting from their pension or but of course they're giving themselves pensions.
That's sickening.
Yeah. Well, we were, my father served and he's retired in 22 years. And what aggravates me is that, when I talk to them, they're like, well, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. And I'm like, well, it will. And sure enough, now they're talking about putting, the military, when you retire, you get a program called TRICARE, which is a healthcare service. That's your insurance company outside of the VA for dependents and military retirees, is TRICARE, and it's a great insurance program. Well, now they're talking about actually kicking that over to Obamacare as well, which is nowhere near the quality of the service, if you can even find a doctor. That's what we're finding out here in Wisconsin. But I know you don't want to. You got Fox; they'll fill you in on all the news.
I got Fox. That's the only thing I really know about is the dysfunctionality of Obamacare. I don't know anything else. No, actually, we cut our cable and we got the Roku box, which my wife still calls Roscoe. Yeah. The Roscoe box. So and we get RT on that, and we get Sky News, we get France 24, we get a lot of decent. I get Bloomberg on there, which really isn't any better than CNBC, but there's no additional cable bill, so
now
that makes it better.
You're a pretty savvy computer guy, correct?
No.
Oh, you can read though, right?
I can read.
You can read.
If I've got pictures so when I get stuck on a word, I can kind of look over and see, okay, all. Okay, I see a ball there. That must be ball. Red ball. Yeah, if I've got pictures, I can read. Okay. So that I have something to kind of reference back to.
Here you go. I'm gonna
stuck on a big word that has more than 2 syllables.
Actually, I'm gonna share this with all of. There is a technology out there. Because we replaced our TV. I mean, we had Dish and our DirecTV and stuff. We got rid of all that. We don't have any of that in our house. And we have the Apple TV, which is not as good as I will agree, it's not as good. But we get, I watch the documentaries, but there is an open source product out there, and you need both of these, but you can do it. It's called Sabbits. And Sickbeard. It's SICKBEARD, Sickbeard.
BEARD.
And then there's Sabbits, SABNZDB. Maybe I'll do
SABNZDB.
Yep, DB. You know what? I'll do a posting on how to set these things up. But you set these things up, and it's like a TiVo, but it goes over the internet, and you put in all the shows that you like. And it will go and grab them off the internet and then play them, and then you need depending on, and you can watch them on your computer or whatever, or you can watch them if you have I believe the Roku does have a player where you can connect to a media source.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so you can actually just hook through your computer and it plays on your TV.
Yeah, I had to watch a little YouTube video to figure out how to get YouTube on the Roku, but that's cool because there's a lot of cool stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm finding out that pretty much everything I need is right on YouTube now.
Yeah. And so now I can send all that to the TV and watch that on the TV, that's cool.
Yeah. So this is those are two great products and stuff. And I download, I'll do C-SPAN. People record. Believe it or not, there are people out there that actually record C-SPAN and then refeed it back through the system. And that way, that's how I watch my C-SPAN, and that's usually running just in the background. But
and then C-SPAN actually has the videos on their site for anything that's noteworthy that comes up.
Yep.
I mean the big thing, anytime Helicopter Ben's gonna say something, I always have to watch it. I don't know why. I'm an addict. I'm a fanboy, I guess. I have to just listen to his lies, because I'm looking at him, because I'm always studying. I'm always looking at him and saying, does he believe what he's saying? Because I'm pretty good at reading people, and I can't tell, because he's got that shaky voice, and it sounds like he's having a panic attack every time he's talking, and and I think that if I was in his position, I think I'd be having a panic attack.
Oh, I'd be nervous.
And I just want to get out of there and sign this over and give Janet the keys and get me out of here.
Yes. Well,
I've got a little island up off the coast of Greenland that I'm going to, and it's fortified, and I've got 20. He's realistically probably only got another 20 years, so he's got 20 years worth of food, and he's got the Barrett 50 calibers mounted on all four. He's got revolving turrets. I'm sure he's got some kind of place that he's planning on going, and he just wants to get out.
Yeah, and the thing is, yes, I would not want to be anywhere near this administration.
No,
it's just not conducive to health. It's just not conducive to, to your soul, and it's just, and for those that don't know, we're talking about Ben Bernanke. Some of those that, Helicopter Ben is his nickname, but that are listening, I had to every once in a while I have to clarify that, because we assume that people know the little acronyms and all of that. So we went from air guns Ralphie to everything else.
To Helicopter Ben and Janet Yellen, Janet Yellen is going to be the new Fed chairman after providing that Rand Paul's not able to block her, and I suppose now with the nuclear option, there is absolutely no possibility of that.
Yep.
But it looks like she is definitely going to be the next Federal Reserve chairperson.
Yes.
I don't know that she might be a chairman. I don't know. I could go either way on that one. And I'm not even going to get into it, because there's enough problems without figuring out
okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, she is let it be known that she is dedicated to making sure unemployment gets back down to frictional unemployment, which is supposedly 4%. And she's dedicated to maintaining a low interest rate and fostering a strong economy, which in Fed speak means she is going to print money like there is no tomorrow. And so the budget, if they pass this, and it sounds like they very well may, an extra $7 trillion on top of the $17 trillion we've already got. So that'll take us up to a nice, cool 24 trillion.
24
is that right?
Trillion.
Yeah, that's great.
Trillion.
So the damage is done. Either way, the damage is done. The dollar is in its final death spiral.
Yep.
Everyone is doing everything they can. High net worth individuals are shedding dollars like my cat sheds fur in the spring. And they're dumping dollars, they're getting out of it, and they're buying anything they can get their hands on. Diamond sales are going through the roof. Andy Warhol's little picture of a car wreck, it's these multiple slides of a car collision.
Yeah.
And there's a dead body in one of the slides, or a couple of the slides, and this is one of his masterpieces, and it just sold for $105 million.
Yeah. Oh, it's and we talked about this, is that actually, this president, this administration, is always touted, oh, we're for the middle class or the lower class and stuff. And in all reality, the lower and the middle class have been hurt the worst under this president. The upper class, the 1%, the ones that he was telling the 99%ers that you need to go out and protest and you need to do all of this, the 1%ers have done phenomenal. My rich friends, my very wealthy friends are very wealthy now. I mean, and I've got buddies, you're down in Florida and stuff. I've got friends that own a place there on Star Island and another place on Fisher Island. And, they're buying up condos left. And, you couldn't give away condos in Florida, 10 years ago when the housing burst. Now you can't get them, but they're all being purchased by, either conglomerates or foreigners who are coming in and, just basically buying up this country left and right.
Blackstone's making a killing out of buying out single-family homes to rent out.
Yeah.
And their new scheme is they're going to securitize the lease payments. The same thing that we did with the subprime mortgages in 2007, we're going to now do with lease payments.
With lease payments.
So we're going to take your 1-year lease and put them into buckets of hundreds and thousands, and then split them up into tranches, to where the whoever wants to take on more risk can get a higher reward. So it's basically like a leveraged financial asset. And if you're willing to accept this level of risk and this tranche of this securitized basket of lease payments, then you'll get paid this rate. And if you want something a little more middle of the road, then you'll get a 6% return. And then if you want something totally safe to where you're going to be the last one to lose any money, then we'll give you 4%.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're all going to be rated AAA. So, why not take the riskiest tranche? Because, AAA rated securitized mechanism should have virtually no risk associated with it. So let's take the risky one and get the 10%. And what could possibly go wrong with that scheme? What could possibly go wrong? And for the folks that don't know, that's why we're in the mess we're in right now, or that was it was the trigger. I mean, the reason we're in the mess we're in right now is because we've been doing the wrong thing since FDR, really. Yeah. If you really want to be honest about it. But that was the trigger, is that we took all of these subprime loans and we split them up into collateralized debt obligations and sold them off into tranches, and people just couldn't get enough of them. So that pushed the banking industry to pay more to the mortgage companies that would sign people up. So they just started bringing in homeless people off the side of the road and selling them $1 million homes.
Yep.
And if you could fog a mirror, you could get a loan, and that all blew up. And the Fed's been trying to print money ever since to bail us out of that. And every time they print a dollar, that dollar now has value. And that value doesn't just appear out of nowhere. That value has to come from somewhere. So when we've got a monetary base, which is the entire, all of the dollars and all the deposits in America is $10 trillion, and they print another trillion, they extract that $1 trillion worth of value from the existing 10 trillion. So those dollars in your pocket, that's where that value comes from. It comes from the dollar that's in your wallet and in your bank account and in your safe and under your mattress or wherever it happens to be. And so now, since they printed another trillion, now we have $11 trillion chasing the same amount of goods and services that we had last year, $10 trillion chasing.
Yep.
So now everything goes up by if money flowed evenly into all asset classes, we would have 10% price inflation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always go evenly into everything, and that's why we're seeing $105 million war hauls and diamond sales shooting through the roof, and Blackstone buying up all of the single family homes and condos and things like that to rent out and securitize, and that's why we're full circle.
Yep. No, it's just another, like I said, they did well. It worked so well the first time, and of course there's no penalty. I mean, this administration, this government, basically, I'm still, there hasn't been anybody prosecuted yet. That's the amazing thing, and that's why you don't, when you talk, was it Iceland or Greenland? Greenland. You don't hear
Iceland's the one that had. Well, Iceland is the one that. The people went to the ATM and stuck their ATM card in the machine, and it just didn't give it back.
Yeah. Well, no, but
and you had no money.
But it's
they're
Iceland.
The ones that had the blood. Iceland's the one that had the bloodless revolution too, and they just basically kicked because of that.
Yes.
Because their country took their the government's treasury and their government pension funds and all the money that was supposed to be there to run the government, and they bought these harebrained CDOs from Wall Street, and when they all went belly up, that's what triggered the banking crisis in Iceland, and so everybody in Iceland said, that's it, everybody in the government, you're out, and they had the pots and pans revolution, I think.
Yeah, they ran them all out, and you didn't hear anything about that here in the States, obviously, because
Fox News just did an expose on that yesterday.
But that was after the fact, and
I'm just kidding. Fox News didn't talk about.
I didn't know.
But
RT, it was. I'm getting my news from RT now. Yeah. I don't even watch Fox. I haven't been out on Fox, and the last time I was out at Fox is when I heard, what was it? It was Rodney did a show. Rodney Conover did a show and talked about. Knucklehead there, Fair and Balanced dude. I can't even remember his name. See, that tells you how much I go out to Fox. He was talking about Breitbart, Andrew Breitbart, and he basically threw him under the bus after riding his coattails for so long. And after, so when you say Fox, I'm just going to go, okay, whatever. 'Cause I don't listen to Fox. I don't watch Fox. I don't care to even, I do not get my news. I do not want green eggs and ham.
I do not want them Sam I am.
Sam I am. I do not get my news from mainstream. I just don't. I mean, I get it from alternative sources. I mean, I'm finding, this is what's really crazy. I'm finding Pravda, RT News, is, Russian television is pretty much what I would consider my mainstream news source.
Yeah.
I do get stuff from UK Mail, and I'll get stuff from France 24 and Sky News every once in a while. As far as what I would consider mainstream, everything else is what they deem, alternative. And, so when you say Fox, I'm just going to go, okay, whatever, but of course you keep teeing them up and I keep on walking right into them, don't I?
Yeah. If I don't say Obamacare, then I didn't and I say I saw it on Fox, then it's a joke.
Okay. I got you. Wink, wink. There you go. I'm touching my nose. I got it, buddy. And so, it's just, you're absolutely correct. I mean, it's just getting, it's the whole, watch what the right hand's doing. Watch what the right hand's doing. But don't look at the left hand. Whatever you do, don't look at the left hand.
Classic red herring trick. Yeah. So, and then back to, people getting out of dollars. Even though the silver price is really, really low right now, the U.S. Mint sold a record amount of Silver Eagles this year. They sold 40 million ounces of silver, and that was back in November. And then so that was the record for all-time Silver Eagle bullion sales, 40 million ounces. And of course they still, at that point when they hit that record, they still had another 6 weeks of sales to go. So I mean, it's they blew the old record out of the water in silver sales. And so to look at it, so demand is real, even though we see the price is really, really down right now in silver, demand is really, really up. So I don't give financial advice because I don't have any licensing to do so, but I think it's a gift at these prices. And it's right now, I'm going to look it up, $19 $2.37, and the average production cost of all-in cost, and that's all of the marketing and CEO's pay and everything counted into each ounce. The average production cost for an ounce of silver is right now around $25.
Yeah.
So you can't have something with that kind of demand selling below the production cost very long, because as it stays below, obviously if that's the average production cost, you've got people that are maybe producing it at $30 an ounce and other people producing it at $20 an ounce. But still at $20 an ounce, you're still losing money if you're a silver miner, and the spot price is $19.37. So if you've got all these people producing at above what they're getting for it, some of them are going to start going out of business sooner or later, because you're just not going to be able to keep raising the capital to keep bleeding cash and losing money. So when they go out of business and you've still got record demand coming out of the U.S. Mint, and I'm sure the Canadian Mint, I'm sure if we looked at their sales, I'm sure we'd see that silver maple leafs are having a similar look and luck. And I'm sure if we looked at all of the private mints, I'm sure Sunshine and Harrius and all of those guys, I'm sure they're probably breaking records too.
Yeah.
So if you've got all this record demand for the metal and all these people start going out of business, then you're going to get a supply crunch. And when that happens, it's going to go through the roof. Yeah. And the longer it stays below production, the higher that correction is going to be when it finally shoots up. So it's certainly something that I'm going to be doing personally, is
getting some more silver,
stacking it up, man. Because when the bond bubble finally pops and the dollar is no longer accepted in the rest of the world for, they don't need it for oil trade anymore, and they don't need it for all of that stuff, then the dollar's going to be worthless. It's going to be like Weimar Germany.
Hey, Mark, do you want to stick around for the next hour or for the next segment, or are you? I'm getting music coming in, so that means we're going to take a break.
I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say goodnight, and we'll see you next Thursday.
All right, my friend.
Jeff, it's so good talking to you. Thanks for having me back on the show, man.
Not a problem. Take care of yourself, my friend.
Always have a good time, and we'll see you on PatriotFacebook.com.
PatriotFB.com.
All right.
There you go. Bye, my friend.
Bye-bye.
There you go, Mark. Midnight. Go out to Patriot. It's PrepperRecon.com. PrepperRecon.com. Out of control spending. A government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. I were the devil, all heart. If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I want to engulf the whole world in darkness.
Yes, we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, traitors and star-spangled banner, yet wave for the land of the brave. In the
You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us every Monday through Friday live from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes we do cut out a little early. We play a little hooky. You know, gotta get it. It all depends on you. It all depends on you, the listener. You know, we have guests or you want to call in. We'd love to talk to you, but you know, there's plenty to talk about. But sometimes we just kind of run out. My voice gives out. And everything. So we try to keep the 3-hour show going, but you know, it's all, like I said, it's all up to you. The lines are open. If you'd like to give us a call at 1-800-580-4870. That's 1-800-580-4870. We can talk about everything. Now, you know, to credit, I know that Mark wanted to talk about air guns. Of course, you know, me being the great distractor that I am, that doesn't go well for the whole train track, you know, scenario that I painted a little bit earlier. But hey, you know, we always we digress, and you know, the air guns, and you know, that's a very important thing. Is that, you know, you got to practice. Firearms are not something that and even if you're a good shot, if you don't shoot a lot, if you don't shoot consistently and train with them and stuff, you know, you'll lose that ability. It's a muscle memory exercise, and we do so many other things with our fingers, and pulling a trigger, you know, squarely and everything is not something that we do every day, obviously. And so, you know, between texting, grabbing, and all the things that we do, you know, driving cars and stuff, our fingers, our muscle memory in our fingers, you know, kind of get retrained. And one way, an inexpensive way of practicing that, besides dry firing and stuff, but if you want instant results, get yourself a air gun. You know, I recommend not the CO2 kind, because those are the type that you always have to charge up and everything. I'd recommend the good old pump kind, or ones that you cock and stuff. And, you know, practice with it. And you'll find that, you know, you will become a better shot when you go out to the range with your gunpowder weapons and everything. So thoroughly enjoyed. You know, that's a great topic. And like I said, there are air guns, as we were talking about, that shoot at 1,000 feet per second. You know, which are, you know, it's a lot of velocity and stuff. So you can hunt with them. And I know there are some manufacturers that actually make 50 cal air rifles. There's CO2 though that you can actually hunt with, that are legal in some states. You got to check with your local DNR and everything. And you know, and I tell people, you know, for whatever reason, people have made bad decisions or made mistakes when they were younger, and unfortunately, under the current laws of the land, if you're a convicted felon or whatever, you can't own a firearm. Well, that does not exclude you from an air gun. That does not exclude you from a black powder gun as well. And of course, you always have your bow and everything. So, you know, you can legally own an air gun, and you can legally own a black powder gun. And stuff. You still need to check though, because your state might have a different law. Most states follow what the ATF does, and and in reality too, the ATF will have the final say if there's ever an issue with it. But I know, like in the state of Illinois, if you go above a certain caliber, they consider it a firearm. But the thing is that it's if you are a felon because you did something, because you're younger, did something stupid, and everything. And I know they're out there. I mean, I've got friends who, partied or whatever, and vandalism. I think one of my buddies got a felony charge for vandalism, because he threw a trash can. It wasn't a party. Their college won a championship, so he threw a trash can through a window, and they charged him with felony vandalism, and everything. So it's just stupid stuff. But I digress. We'll get back on topic. But if you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call, 1-800-580-4870. The lines are open. That's 1-800-580-4870. Love to talk to you. Or you can also reach out to us on Skype. Our Skype name is The Midnight Patriot, is our Skype. It's kind of an open night. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'd love to talk to you. If you're a little bashful, and I understand, I get it, and stuff, you can always join us at patriotfb.com. That's patriotfb.com, and put up a chat, and we're monitoring that, so we'll watch it and everything. And Scott, I just got to tell you, I know you're listening to the show and stuff. Yeah, we have a way of sucking you in to the show. Scott was complaining earlier. He had some posts that he had to do, but he kept on listening to the show and wasn't getting his work done. So that's it. But for all of you that are out there, on the chat room, thanks. Welcome to the show. If there's anything we can do to make the show a little bit better, please let us know. Give us a shout. It's only appropriate after being Prepper Thursday, that we talk about one of our sponsors, dear friend, I should say, good sponsor of the show, Mountain View Offgridliving.com. I'm trying to get my broadcast voice. You guys know me well enough. So mountainviewoffgridliving.com. Give Sue a call. They got a great products out there. She's putting some more on the marketplace. She was putting a lot on there, and we had an issue with the marketplace, so we kind of stopped it until we got it fixed. But it's fixed. But she's running a special right now, canned meat, 15-year shelf life. Go out to mountainviewoffgridliving.com and take a look. She's got Christmas sales going on and such, and highly recommend that you support her. And unlike other shows, I'll just tell you this, unlike other shows, other and I'm not putting anybody down, so don't take it that way. They have sponsors because they're the ones that are paying the bills, right? Not here. I mean, we have sponsors because we like people and everything. And Sue's been a great contributor to the actual website, patriotfb.com. Very insightful, giving a lot of information. And one of the things I love about Sue is the fact that you can give her a call. During normal business hours, don't call her after hours. Call her during normal business hours, and she'll talk to you. She'll take the time and talk with you. You can always catch her on patriotfb.com in the chat rooms and stuff. So that's we recommend that you go out there as well. I'm kind of listening. I'm watching a couple of the feeds in the chats, and going back to what Sandy said, I can't do two things at once. Darn it, she's right about that. Once again, she is right. The other thing too is I do want to let people know, if you go out to patriotfb.com, there's a great site, actually a great page that was just created by 13th North Carolina, and you got to take a look at it. And I was kind of looking at for especially for us guys and gals, who are talking about militia and everything like that. They just created it on Patriot FB. Take a look at it. Join that page. Now, one of the things I've noticed about that right off the bat, and I was talking to the poster that created the page, their website talks about militia and things that are pertinent to the militia and movement, organization, structure, all of those things. They don't get into the politics. They don't do what we do here. and stuff. And that's good because, they have a purpose, and their purpose is education and training for militia and getting people involved into those organizations and into the militia movement and stuff. And so I would recommend, if you're out at patriotfb.com and you sign up for it, take a look at their page. We're starting to get individuals starting pages, and you can, obviously get to that through the menu at the top where it says pages, and then you go to that. So a lot of great information out there. So, one of the things we didn't get to last night, we kind of talked about economics and everything, but we really didn't get to the numbers. And so today what I want to do is I want to kind of, come back, and it's very important that we understand that this economy is struggling. We see it in our streets. We see it every day, everywhere we go. We got friends, families, you see it. I saw just the other day, an individual who, holding up a sign for food, and this was not, your typical, this is a, guy that, you guys know what I mean? This was a guy that, blue jeans with, nice shirt, everything, and just looked like a guy, next door. He did not look like a homeless individual and stuff. And, it's just heart wrenching. And I know the economy, I can name 3-4 people now who are without jobs, out of 10. So there you go. There's the number, and stuff. But getting back to the news, or the economic news, and the reason why we do this is because we need to let people know that there are people that are less fortunate than ourselves. We're truly blessed. If you're listening to this show, if you're at patriotfb.com, you are 10 times better than some of our fellow patriots out there, and we cannot forget them. And that's why we do this. So layoffs reported for December 13th. Creative Apparel in Fort Kent, Missouri. We don't know the number, but there's layoffs. Air Force, United States Air Force, we got 900 civilian jobs are going to be laid off. Zenith Infotech is laying off people. On December 12th, Martha Stewart Living, Omni Media, 100 people. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I care less about Martha Stewart. No, but I do care about those individuals. Travel City, Hanover Call Center, 85. Ruby Tuesdays IT is dropping off 16. That's important because we'll talk about that here in a second. Hamilton's National Car Plant, International 400, and Lincoln Paper and Tissue Mill. There's going to be some layoffs going on, and those are more seasonal. 5 Napkin Burger in Stony are closing. Fenton Area Resources and Referral Thrift Store Michigan is also closing. PCC Aerostructures Plant in Prescott, 80 jobs gone. The Market in Lakeway and Belling gone. CommScope Holding in Stateville, North Carolina gone. Super Linda and Latin Grill, they're gone. There's small businesses that are going on. Well, let's name them. They're more important to this economy than actually the big corporations. So the Dish Famous Stuffed Pizza Restaurant in Liberty, Missouri, Reflections Antique Emporium in Cassett, Nash Finch Company, they're closing their operations in Blue Ash Center, Ohio. Talbot's Clearance Outlet Store in Lexington, Hamburg, shopping district in Kentucky, they're closing, and Worthington Industry is closing its plant. And there's about 54 individuals that are going to be losing their jobs there. So, as you go through your day, and as you think about how things are rough, it could be much worse. So keep those men and women who just lost their jobs in your hearts and your prayer. Think about them. I mean, the power of prayer is incredible. This government wants us to believe that they are the solution, and they're not. They're not the solution. I mean, Jesus Christ is our solution. And we gotta continue to pray. We got to pray for these people. We got to pray for our nation. We got to pray for ourselves, pray for our country. This is the time that, if you ever thought about hitting your knees, this is the time that you need to be hitting them. And if you don't want to do it for yourself and stuff, do it for others, do it for others. I mean, but while you're there, I just recommend that you might want to, ask for a few things for yourself as well. There's nothing wrong with that and everything. So, one of the some business news, Amazon. I don't know if you guys hear about this. Amazon's now going direct against Costco. For all you Costco guys, I know we have some prepper people that go to Costco. I used to buy a lot of my prepping supplies from Costco before I met Sue at Mountain View Off-Grid Living. So we'll talk about that. We just talked about it. So Costco, you got Amazon's now going to start going after that. Fidelity halts Bitcoin investments from IRAs, so you can't do Bitcoin in your IRAs. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but JP Morgan Chase actually is trying to patent a Bitcoin-like system, which is scary stuff. I mean, they're looking at alternative ways of extracting money from you. Was not a big proponent of the Bitcoin because it wasn't. I'm not a big proponent of the fiat current system, to be honest with you, currency system. So, why would I want to be with Bitcoin and everything? So, but that's up to you. It's your choice. So, some of the news that we didn't get to yesterday. I mean, we got to a lot of news, but some of the news that we didn't get to yesterday, I want to kind of circle back around and make sure that we pick this up today in this show, is that, there was a man and that was arrested, right? And the way that and this is the way the news works. They put a posting up there. California man arresting for running revenge porn website, right? So they suck you in. You go in there and you see this. Now, before you guys go, oh, Jeff saw porn, so he went to. No. What it was is I get what they call law briefs that come in and talk about legal issues and everything like that. When you, and I want to explain to you and why this is important. Obviously the top of the story, this is in Los Angeles. A California man was arrested on Tuesday on accusations he ran a revenge porn website, one that featured new pictures of women often posted by jilted or angry ex-lovers, officials said, right? San Diego arrest, the latest actions by the state. The crackdown on such websites comes after California Governor Jerry Brown signed a first-in-the-nation law in October specifically targeting revenge porn. I'm all for that. I, highly agree for it. I think if you're an individual and you post a picture of an individual and they didn't give you permission, nor if they did it, regardless if they sent it to you, if they didn't give you permission and you post it, you ought to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And frankly, the parents and the brothers of the woman, if it, even if it's man, but mainly it's women, ought to be able to take you out in the street and beat you to an inch of your life. I'm sorry. That's just, you want to be that despicable. If you want to be that despicable, then you deserve the consequence. But I also got to say this, and I tell my daughters the same thing. You're idiots. If you even do this, you are a fool. It's not my job that, they say, well, it's your job to monitor your kids. No, it's not, because we got to let our kids grow up. Now, if they, want to be idiots and they want to be stupid and they want to do that, then they have to suffer the consequences as well of that shame. I'm a firm. It's all about personal responsibility. So that's my position on it. But I still think you ought to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, or take a beating. Give them a choice. You can either go to jail for pornography and all the other issues that go along with that, or you can go outside and take your beating. Whatever you want to do. So, but the reason why I brought this story up is there's a part of this, and let me get down to it, is that, they talk about, the revenge porn site and all this stuff, and he's going to get in trouble for that. But they didn't arrest him for the porn issue, but they make it sound like they did. What they arrested him for is that he like I said, they make it sound like he was arrested because of the porn, porn revenge. No, the charges that he was actually arrested for is Ballard was charged under California identity theft that prohibits using identifying information of persons without their permission, and under extortion legislation, according to the court documents. Now, all right, so the extortion came about that he basically put these pictures up there and said, if you do these, if you pay me, I'll take the pictures off, right? That's extortion. And I agree with that. But the telling thing is he wasn't charged under this new law. He was actually charged with identity theft that prohibits using identifying information of persons without their permission. Now, why is that significant? Why is that significant? Because if you now post under this law, they are setting up case law. If you now post information about a person and say, whatever, and the government deems what they're deeming as identifying information, is, say you post a picture of an individual and you say their email address is at such, or their Facebook page is there. That's considered under this rule, under this law, if this goes through, or if this man is successfully prosecuted under this, because that's what he did. He would post the pictures and he would also post their Facebook pages and all that information. That's what he's getting charged for. Not necessarily the pictures, but the fact that he's posting their prohibits identifying information of a person without their permission. The problem that I have with that is that if I, as a media, say media representative, I then post, so-and-so, politician did XYZ, and here's their Facebook page. That could be construed under this law as part of a identity theft. And if they are a California citizen, they have even broader laws. So, we're going to watch this case, this brief, because this can have ramifications on social media and everything like that. So we're going to watch this a little bit closer. And, that's what these guys do. These politicians, they pass these laws and they make them vague, and that entraps everybody else. That sucks everybody else into the law, and then they can prosecute. And it's only a matter of time before they say, well, you can't post a number for Nancy Pelosi, call her administration. You can't say, well, Nancy Pelosi's website, which is this, or Nancy Pelosi's blog, which is that, and a picture of Nancy Pelosi, because it doesn't say they have to be nude. It just says that Boulder is charged under the California identity theft law that prohibits using identifying information of a person without their permission. So anything that that can identify that person without their permission, you can actually be charged under California identity theft law. So we're watching this. We're watching this case closely because it has far-reaching ramifications. But that's what they do. That's how they do it, and that's why we tell people. That's why we tell people that don't ever talk to police, because you don't know what law you broke. Don't ever talk to police. If a police officer is talking to you, you are under investigation. They're not your friends. They're not your buddies. They're not your peers. They're not, you might have went to high school with them. You might have been their best friend or whatever. When they are talking to you, you are automatically, you can assume when they're working and they got their badge on and they're doing their job, you are under investigation. Every question is part of their investigation. And as insignificant as you might think it may be very significant. You might incriminate yourself. You might not be incriminating yourself in the action in which they're investigating for you, but you might incriminate yourself in another issue. The laws are so vague, and they're written that way to get you into the prison system, to get you into the jail system. They are. Those are profit centers for a lot of communities and stuff. So, very important that's why I tell you, I tell everybody, officer, I'd love to answer your questions, but not until I talk to my attorney. Lawyer up. And they're going to threaten you. They're going to kick and scream with you, and they're going to, and stuff. But you know what? Get your attorney, because like my good friend who is an attorney says, you either pay me up front or you pay me in the back end. And usually when you pay me after it's happened, it's a lot more expensive. So get yourself a relationship with an attorney, have a good friend, have someone that you can call, get your power of attorney letters written. So in the event that you are incarcerated or whatever, that there are individuals who can go to your bank and withdraw your money and pay your bond money and stuff. I mean, I've done it. When I started the show, that was one of the first things we did, because we know we're controversial. It's only a matter of time before we hit mainstream, and then we're attacked by law enforcement and by criticism. Criticized. I mean, we're highly critical of law enforcement. I'm sure there are officers in my community now that listen to this show and stuff are going to be told about the fact that we are critical of them. So like I said, have that relationship with an attorney. If you don't have one, find one. If you need to find one, give me a call. Post it. We'll find you an attorney, a good civil rights attorney in your area and stuff. Get that. It's all about preparation. Being Prepper Thursday, you got to prepare. You got to be ready for the inevitable, and you can't forget about your legal rights and stuff. But you're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us live every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Out-of-control spending, a government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, or on the web 24/7 at www.themidnightpatriot.com. What an incredible night! Once again, I'm juiced. I'm happy and stuff. It's great. If you want to join in the conversation, give us a call 1-800-580-4870. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Hello?
I'm here.
Hey, how are you? Help if I push the right button.
This is Josh calling from Washington.
Hey, Josh.
Good show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. We kind of got off topic there, but, that's usually how it rolls here. We get into more of a conversation style than an interview style, but, it was an excellent topic about air guns and then everything else that kind of we digressed. And stuff. So
yeah, I had a few points on air guns that
sure.
Wasn't particularly brought up. You were talking about muscle memory and all the things that come with shooting, so you don't have flinch syndrome and other things like that. Shooting an air gun, you have no recoil. There's some air guns out there. A lot of us Patriots, we like to open carry and concealed carry. And there's some air guns out there that are replicas. They're CO2 powered, and you can get replicas of like the Beretta PX4 Storm. I know you can get that. The Walther P38, and it's good to get those. They're around between $50 and $100.
Yep.
Most of them, and you can get a feel for your carry weapon without going through hundreds of rounds. Hundreds of dollars worth of ammo as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea because you can actually work on drawing from a holster and firing, and then clearing your weapon and all the different tactical things that you need to learn without.
Absolutely,
yeah.
They're all full functioning, real life functioning. So the slide move, the hammer, all of it same weight, exact. I've checked into a few of the models and they're exact on weight. So it's like handling the real weapon without the recoil.
Yep.
So you're going to get rid of your flinch syndrome, and it's way cheaper. And you can, everybody can do that. And, like you said, practice on your draw and your fundamentals. It's all fundamentals.
Yep.
When it comes down to someone, you have to defend yourself. Your instincts have to kick in.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
Has to be there.
And and that's the thing that I never really thought about, but you can do like the airsoft. I played with the airsoft, and there's airsoft that you would never know were anything other than airsoft. You would think that they were real. And
there's from what I understand it, there's a lot of fully functioning airsoft. I mean, actually, I went to a buddy's one time and he pulled out two 1911s. I'm like, cool, man. You told me all your guns were your uncle's, and they were airsoft.
Yeah.
They're really lifelike, and they're really cool. Me personally, you were talking about felons earlier and how they can carry air guns. I'm going to be actually making a video and kind of advocating for, non-violent felons. I don't particularly want violent felons out there, but, get an air gun, strap it on, come to Stand Your Ground, come to the open carry rallies.
Yep.
Hang out with those people, TJ Grisham and all that, Open Carry Texas.
Yep.
You guys have to defend your rights as well. So
yeah, and
that's the way I look at it.
Well, and you're absolutely right, and I agree with you on that one. Is that I have friends that have done stupid things when they were in college, and these are charges that I am. Please don't think out that I'm an advocate. If you're a convicted violent crime felon and stuff, you should never be allowed to have access to a firearm. There's other alternatives for you
but definitely, like you said, some towns and things like that, they don't allow pellet guns to look into your state and city ordinances, your state statutes or laws.
Yep.
I know here in Washington, I've done some extensive research, and from the way I understand it, you cannot have a black powder or muzzleloader weapon as a felon, so they restrict us here.
Okay. Well, yeah, and like I said, you got it. Yep, you have to check your ordinances and stuff. We're not offering legal advice and everything, but
no, none of this is legal advice. So just check out your stuff.
Yep.
I know what I know. So.
Well, the thing with
another thing is, Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say with the airsoft, I wanted to kind of circle around. Most of the times where you're going to have to defend yourself, you're going to have to defend yourself in your home. Very, very rarely. Most crimes actually happen in your home. And the nice thing about the airsofts is that you can set up scenarios. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is great. No, it's not, because you got to get yourself, law enforcement, military stuff, they're constantly practicing real life scenarios because you don't know what you're going to do unless you're put into that situation. So you can actually with airsoft, you can actually set up scenarios in your house on how you would do that, and then you're going to see how you're going to be able to perform, and also how the weapon will perform, in your hands. And if you even want to go to the extent of one thing I like about airsoft, it's very popular. We have a naval station or naval base here, and so we've got a lot of soldiers who are into the airsoft thing. Those guys will actually set up, they're kind of like paintball wars, where they're having. They're fighting each other, and then you can set up scenarios like that.
That's right. And
yeah.
you can do that in your house. A lot of us Patriot type people, we're going to be doing those type of scenarios to learn.
Yes.
I've talked about it. Weapons retention.
Yes.
Weapons retention. Go over that. That's one thing that's looked over all of anything, and even with concealed carry.
Yep.
Get you a retention holster. I'm telling you.
Yes. No,
just saying.
Yep. No.
I won't go long into that, but practice your retention. Be aware of your surroundings. I open carry personally, so I have to be very aware of my surroundings all the time. So just keep those things in mind. For a while, I kind of slacked on it, and things could have went bad. So I've been practicing on that. So.
Yeah, there's actually.
But not to digress into a bunch of that. No. I wanted to also talk about the economy. Bring up that topic. That was one of the topics that was covered. Apparently, the latest statistics from November, just last month, is 41 million nationwide unemployed.
Yes.
And from the way I understand it, that may not include people who have dropped out of the workforce.
Yeah,
so
it does not.
It's devastating out here. It's hard.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the things that we tell people. There's a website that the unemployment rate, if you go back to pre-Bush's numbers, and this happened when first President Bush came in the office, they changed the numbers and how they calculate unemployment. If you go back to those numbers include those that have dropped out of the workforce, those that, what they say, don't want to participate, and those that are underemployed. If you add all of those numbers up, you're about 24.6% unemployment nationwide. And I don't have to add those numbers up. Take
90 million.
That's right. Take 10. Yeah, take 10 of your friends right now, 10 of your people, and how many of them do you know are either unemployed, underemployed, or not working, that just choose not to work at all, or are not
about
working?
3 out of 10.
Yeah.
3 or 4 out of 10. Yeah.
So there you go.
It's
so
pretty bad.
That's 30% right there. And that's
it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And these are the numbers. I don't need the government to tell you. We don't need the government to tell us. Just take just simple math. 10 of your closest friends, name them off. How many of them don't have jobs or not working or are not working what they're in their skills? I mean, I've got friends who are trained in certain skills that they're working at. They're either bartenders or they're school bus drivers right now, or they're working at the local Walmart.
Yeah, I've been trying to wake people up to how bad it really is, because it isn't on the news right now. Nothing about the economy is on the news. It hasn't been since Obama was reelected this last term. I mean, we haven't seen hardly anything about the economy. They've put it out there like it's going full steam ahead. In reality, it's getting worse. And with Obamacare fully implemented, we're going to see some hardcore stuff. And I think so.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that. I think the next attack, or the next false flag, is they're going to blow up the economy, the stock market. They're going to crash it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's what they're going to do.
They're looking for that one world currency too. I mean, that is a reality. That is a reality. I know it is.
Yep.
That's going to be devastating. I don't want it to happen. So we got to get on the move, as my friend said. But What else was I was going to say? I lost my train of thought like you did last night.
It happens.
The legal stuff about the police. The police aren't on your side. I don't want to bash all police. There's a lot of good police out there, and everyone knows that. There's a lot of them trying to do the right thing, but the police industry has gotten to the point where, they're just going to take orders from their sergeant. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And when stuff goes down and the sergeant don't like it, you're not going to like it. So you need to know what to do, Yeah. Have your attorney's number memorized.
Yep.
Have a plan set up with him in case something happens.
Yeah.
Him or her. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I mean, and that's very important that you said that. Have a plan, and that's why, believe it or not, when I started this show, I have a friend who's a good attorney, and she's very good. She's a criminal attorney. She was a former military police, then she was a former cop and stuff. And so when we were talking about everything, and one of the things that she advised, or one of the advice is that everybody should do, regardless of if you're going to do a show like this or anything, you should always have a power of attorney already set up, because God forbid you're in an accident or something where you can't fend for yourself or whatever, you're gonna need, and you can't always assume that your spouse is going to be there, because Lord, they might be in the accident with you, or especially if there's an issue with if you have to defend yourself, they might be sitting in an interrogation room right next to you. You got to have a power of attorney outside of your immediate family, someone that you trust, that can then execute that immediately, and go to your bank and do the things that they need to do to help you. And that also includes health. Say, you have an illness, or you're in a car wreck or stuff. You need to have that. And the power of attorneys are very easy to do. You can actually do those online through different websites and get those. And regardless of Patriot or not, if you're doing a radio show where you're afraid that someday, the feds are going to be knocking on your door, trumping up charges on you or whatever, you need to have those things in place.
I personally need to get that going on. I understand it probably costs some money to get that all set up. If you need to, have that person, it probably costs some money. So think about that.
Hold on.
I'm broke.
Hold on. No, wait. That's one of the reasons why. Hold on. That's one of the reasons why we're putting the PDF or the document section of our website. Now, we're not attorneys and stuff, but there are websites. You can Google basically any lawyer or any legal system. You can write on a piece of paper right now and say, in the event of my incarceration, my health, or whatever, I give this person permission to, withdraw money from my bank account, or whatever you want to, you can do that. The secret is with that, to make that binding in court, you have to take it to a notary public, someone's got to notarize it to say, yes, they did it, and they're free of, any kind of, they're not being interrogated. And you can do that now. And most courts, almost all courts, will recognize that as a binding. Now, a power of attorney for your bank, like say financial, you can go to your bank right now, tomorrow, free of charge, and you can say, I need to get a power of attorney for my account. In the event if I'm, whatever, I just need a power of attorney. And they have those documents, and they actually have the document that's pertinent to their bank, which obviously covers the city or the state laws and stuff. So you don't have to hire an attorney to do this stuff.
Okay.
You can do that. You've got to have, the other thing too, this is morbid, but you got to think about it. You can go to your local hospital right now. They have services that are free. You need to do a what they call a living will. Yeah. And you can go right to.
I heard about it. Yep. It's called something about like charity paperwork, or charity care. Well, I've heard about this thing.
Yeah.
On other radio networks.
Yeah.
Other Patriot network.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, you guys just get that all set up. I need to get it set up.
Yeah.
I need to get a power attorney thing going on, because I'm getting more active in the thing, in the protesting world and this and that. Kind of venturing out to where I can get myself in some trouble if I'm not prepared.
Oh.
It's just the way it is.
It's just a matter of time.
I'm within the law 100% of the time. They're not going to see it that way.
Exactly.
They don't follow the law.
Well, I mean, I've never had any issues with the law. Never. I mean, I think when I was in college, I got in trouble for I was drinking, and stuff. Partying at the.
Yeah, I be either. I got one
Yeah.
traffic ticket
Yeah.
from an accident, and
Exactly.
they pulled over a few times for speeding or this and that, and I've never had a problem.
Well.
So, but you just gotta be prepared.
You got to be. You got to be ready because I mean, this is no. 2 days of me doing now. Of course, we broadcast. We were telling people we're going to start the show. A lot of my, friends and stuff in the community were telling me about. I told them that, hey, look, I'm going to start doing a radio show, podcast, and stuff. Join me and stuff. And I do have friends who are law enforcement. I do have, friends that are politicians and stuff. And so I just kind of told them about the show. 2 days, no joke.
Yeah.
I started the show that weekend. I get a knock on my door. I've got the gang unit of my city standing in my front yard with and they're like, hey, does this person live here? I'm like, no, this person doesn't live here. I've lived here for 5 years now, and they were like, well, he put it down on his address, when that he lived here. Do you mind if we come in your house? And I'm like, yes, I do. You can't come in my house. And they said, well, what are you hiding? It's like, you can't. You have a warrant? And they're like, well, this is a gang member. And I'm like, look at me. I'm not I'm not hiding a gang member. But then the thing is that he was going to leave, and I said, hey, can I look at the picture? Can I look at the picture? So the officer handed me the picture. Well, as he was handing, because it was folded up, as he was handling it and flipping it over, it had the address, and it had my name on the address on the back side. Now maybe they checked the public record to see who actually truly lived there, and maybe that's what it was. But you never know. You never know anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy, man. But one other thing, we went over the power of attorney and all that. But when you're in an event where you're stopped, one of the things I've heard. Now I haven't verified this, but I heard, how everyone knows how anymore you're guilty until proven innocent.
Yep.
They've reversed it on us. You have to say, I'm invoking. That is the key term.
Yes.
I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right. In order for the Fifth Amendment right plea to stand in court. If you don't say invoking, apparently they can just throw it out. And, there's a lot of things they can do anyway.
Well, they can't.
I would highly recommend looking into that and what wordage you have to use, because they have all this legal lingo now.
The problem this is the problem with the Fifth Amendment right. If you invoke your Fifth Amendment right, I'm not a lawyer, but talk to a lawyer and stuff, but I've done the research. If you invoke your Fifth Amendment right, you can't say anything, because the minute you say I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, if you say anything other than that, what you've done is you've rescinded your Fifth Amendment right. At that point, you avoided it.
Yeah.
So you can't say anything.
Well,
so that's why I tell people.
Too.
Yeah. So that's why I tell people and stuff. Just say,
man,
look,
that's crazy.
officer, I'd love to talk to you, but not until my attorney's present. I'm not going to talk to you until my attorney's here. And then they're going to say, "Oh, well,
any questions?
just keep your mouth shut." And they're going to, look, they're trained. They go to school. See, a lot of people don't realize, when you want to be a police officer, you go to school. That they have the physical requirements and all that. They spend a ton of time in the classroom. They learn how to interrogate. They learn how to look at, remember that show called Liar or whatever that was on TV, where the guy would, they do that. They show interrogators, people, how to, look at your body language, how to, determine and stuff. And, I don't know about you, but when I'm around police officers, I'm nervous to begin with, because I just, like I said, what are their intentions? And so you're going to show signs of being nervous. My thing, I tell everybody, that, especially my concealed carry friends and stuff, officer, I would love to answer your questions, but I'm going to talk to my attorney first. Thank you very much. And that's it. Don't say anything else.
Yeah.
And then they'll look at
I'm not typically nervous in my area. I've just never run across a situation where I've been nervous of a police officer. Well, when I'm in other towns, I'm a lot more weary.
Yeah.
I kind of out of my bubble. I've traveled around this area, down like Portland and stuff. Portland has some weird statues. You just got to be aware of your surroundings and know what's going on, and not try to be scared or anything, but definitely think cognitively when you're in a situation.
Yeah.
Try to. That's what I would like to do. But yeah. what else was I going to say? That's all I know.
You know.
The other thing I want to point out is just go. I don't know. I know a lot of you guys are doing stuff. I like that militia site you were talking about. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But the importance of going to rallies and doing the protests, sitting back on, the media sites and posting stuff is great. It gets the word out. But I'm just encouraging people to get out and go to the rallies, go to the protests, get out there and invoke your, and you actually use your rights rather than just keep talking about them on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, armchair patriots.
I mean, we got to stand up for them. That's what I'm going to try and be getting done up here with some people, like at this Stand Your Ground event, which is in Olympia at the Capitol, and just you have that spirit of 1776, folks.
Yeah.
And I mean that, and just the spirit is liberty. Standing for your inherent rights that are outlined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Yep.
Inherent rights. And let people be known it's inherent rights. The Constitution didn't give us the right. It outlined it and said the government has to leave these rights alone.
Yes. No,
that's all I have to say about that.
Well, no, I'm a firm believer. And going back to this thing with the rallies, I tell people this is that just in general, I do this show and I've got listeners and stuff. And there was one time where I didn't do the show. I was sick or something. Can't remember what happened. I literally the next day I had phone calls, I had emails, I had texts where people are like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay? Is everything?" And that's the thing is that you gotta build a network of people that you trust, patriots and stuff, because there's going to be a time in which you're going to need their assistance, and they're going to be there for you. And it not only the camaraderie, and the friendships that you build and the lifelong friendships. I mean, there's patriots there. I've got patriot friends that I would leave my house keys with. I would, tell my daughters, if you ever, call them first, or whatever, if your dad's out of town, if I'm traveling, go there, go here, call this number.
Yeah, the moral makeup of these people. You know the characteristics of these people, and you trust them.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that bond.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what we all need.
Yep.
We need to find those people, band together, and try to teach some of the people that aren't in the patriot community some of the values we hold and get them involved.
Yeah. Yep. So. And it's just, like I said, is that you got to do that. I mean, it's, I travel and I know for a fact that if Sandy was in a situation besides, we got Buddy, our dog, but if Sandy needed someone to help and stuff, I mean, she could pick up the phone, call. I know 3 people right now that she could call and they would be here. They would put down whatever they're doing and they would be here to, to take care of her and to help her and stuff. So I just, and that's what we have to do. And, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we need to start developing those relationships now because, when the police are around my house and you guys see it on national TV, I know there will be other patriots that will come to my aid and my rescue because,
I've just been trying to be gentle and like Joe says, plant a seed rather than try to force it down people's throats.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to just be reserved and plant the seed so people see what's going on, see what's going on there, and start asking questions and stuff. And I've had some people do that, but I put a video up the other day, and man, we had a heated debate over it. And all I did was, warn the people of the economic collapse that may be coming, and just, I'm encouraging people to think about what's going on, have a say, at least get a position. If it's not the same position as me, at least it's some position.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't understand some of the people that I've talked to where they say, I don't care about the Constitution. I don't care about any of that. I fundamentally cannot understand that, and maybe those people are not going to come around.
Yeah.
But I've had some people ask some questions and kind of gain some interest in certain topics, and so the movement is going.
Yes.
We've seen the movement grow, especially in the last year, and we just got to keep growing that movement. So.
Yep. No, it is. People are awaking. I mean, people are coming. I mean, they're starting to wake up, and that's why it's important, that, like I said, is that we have the community, because we got to, this is the issue, is that a lot of them, and as Prepper Recon was saying, a lot of them, they get awoken and then they go to Fox, or they go to and they don't realize that the real news is not at Fox. The real news is not at mainstream media. That's contrived news in order to get ratings and to make money. The real news is in the alternative sites, such as the ones that we're running, and sites like Before It Was News, and those are that's the real news. That's where you're going to get the truth.
Yeah, Liberty News.
Liberty News, exactly.
There.
Exactly.
There's a few that are really hot on ratings too.
Yeah.
But I still take to a lot of the data that they put across. They have a long history of being accurate. But get with the ground root sites like you guys. I don't know. Liberty News seems great. I go there a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well.
But
yeah, and
seem great.
And that's the thing. Like with our site, we want to. I know that you were talking. You were on the show last night, and we were talking about that. I'm still waiting for your events to get posted. Stuff. So
I got 2 events up.
Oh, do you?
Or 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
One is the Constitutional Study Group. It's in Vancouver, Washington. It's going to be on December 22nd.
Is it actually on patriotfb.com?
It's on there. It's on my profile.
Are we friends? It might be because we're not friends.
Oh, yeah, I might have to do that. But yeah, it's on there. I also have Stand Your Ground, which I've talked a lot about. That's on January 19th. I actually said the 14th last night. It's 19th in Olympia at the Capitol, from what I understand it. I'm not sure when it starts. You can just hit the link and check it out. And then we have a good friend out here who runs Open Carry Vancouver. You can check those guys out.
Yep.
They're great. And they run an event called Pack and Heat Meet and Greet. And we'd like to get some more people out to that. Lately it's kind of dwindled, to be quite honest, and it's on January 4th. So it's pretty jam-packed up here right now. We got some events coming up. Cool. I'm really excited about it, to say the least. So got some new guys coming into the atmosphere, the Patriot atmosphere, or who are interested. So a couple of close friends of mine, I want to go to the study group and learn about the Constitution. Sure. We'll be breaking down the article by article. We'll also be referencing or cross-examining the federal Constitution with the Washington State Constitution and the RCW. We're breaking it all down according to with Black's Law and case law, and cross-referencing it all throughout these events. So by the time it's all said and done, a lot of any of the folks that are going to come out there are going to have a heavy understanding of what's gone on in the legal statutes and things that have progressed through Washington throughout its history. So if you're from Washington, it's, in my opinion, essential to get to that. Yep. We got some really smart guys that are down there hosting that event.
Now, do you know if they're going to be recording it or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be recorded on each event's going to be recorded. It'll be put on the Move show. Okay. At YouTube.
Oh, on the Move. That's yeah. Okay.
Mr. Mac Worley's YouTube channel.
Yeah. Nope, I was on Mac's show 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago. 2 weekends ago.
Sundays ago.
Yeah. I'll have to...
Yeah, it was great. I listened to that show, and that's where that's how I found you guys. Okay. I'd never heard of you. And Mac came through flying colors on that.
Yeah.
So
no, we're new.
I've been watching Mac for about 9 months, but I never really came in contact with him or nothing like that. I was just kind of hanging back, doing my own thing. And then lately, I've been listening to Alex, to be honest, and spark just popped in me. And with all the stuff what happened in Dallas and all that, and I just been on, ever since I've been trying to get on the move, as Mac would say, just get involved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's really been since then, a couple of weeks, since Alex was up in Dallas and all that happened up there at the JFK Memorial.
At the JFK, yep, absolutely. And
the anniversary. So it's basically only been since then that I've really got on the move, to say. I like to use that. But I've been knowledged up and active in getting knowledge mainly through InfoWars for the last year.
Sure.
And I really like InfoWars, but
yep.
a lot of people have their opinions on that. I love them. So.
Well, John, I appreciate you calling in. We're actually going to go into a break, and then I'm going to roll it down here for the evening and stuff. So.
All right. Has it been 3 hours yet?
Yeah, it has, my friend.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Okey-doke. Well, it was great. Great being on. Lots of good stuff. And I'll be tuning in tomorrow.
All right. Yep, tomorrow. Absolutely.
Tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yes, sir. No, tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday. I'll be tuning in Friday. I can't keep track.
Yeah, I can't either. So,
all
right, sir.
Have a good night.
Yep,
y'all.
thanks for calling in. Bye now. Join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com.
After Daniel Pearl was kidnapped and murdered in Pakistan, his family and friends came together to work towards a more humane world.
A foundation was formed in Daniel's name to promote cross-cultural understanding through journalism, music, and innovative communications.
On Daniel Pearl Music Day, thousands of people around the world will unite to promote harmony for humanity,
carrying on his mission of connecting people through words and music.
Join us in using the universal language of music to diminish hatred,
respect differences,
and reach out in friendship.
We invite you to perform, support, or attend a Daniel Pearl Music Day event in October.
Participate in Daniel Pearl Music Day, promoting
America. Welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave.
What is that?
Oh, it's my time machine.
Does it work?
Sure, just hit this button.
Whoa, dinosaurs, cool.
Or we can go here.
Hey, that's Napoleon.
Oui.
Or we can go to the future.
Wow, hey, you have this nice house. Do I have a nice house?
No, you didn't save any money, always spent it on vacations and stuff.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and correct that bad habit.
Yep.
Okay, the time machine is not real, but the saving thing is. Get in the habit of putting some of your money in savings each week through a 401k, savings account, or financial investments. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy tips on saving, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
What does this crazy little button do?
Wait, no!
This message brought to you by the American...
Out of control spending. A government that no longer works for the people. Had enough? Then vote for Stone Anthony for president. Replace politicians with a citizen statesman. www.stoneanthony2016.com. You're listening to the Midnight Patriot Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Norton. You can join us here live every Monday through Friday from 9 p.m. till 12 a.m. Central Standard Time or on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com. And now on our sister site, we do have the podcast feed up and running. You have to, if you want to listen to the podcast and also be on patriotfb.com, just right mouse click on that. We will fix that tomorrow, but you can right mouse click on that and also bring up a new window and listen to the show as you surf and add to patriotfb.com. What a night. It's been an incredible night. You know, it is Prepper Thursday and everything. And like I said, you know, I got a little spring in my step from last night's show with Joe. Had him on and, you know, got me motivated again. And that's, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, like I said, God, this is when you think that things are getting rough or whatever, you know, God has a way of putting things back in my path. I don't know about yours, but it's just incredible. The, you know, the way that he kind of guides me and lets me go forward. Now, you know, we were talking about mainstream media a little bit earlier and stuff, poking fun at Fox, and you know, there was a little attack going on in the White House today with the media. You know, but of course, I've always said if you want to change this president, because he is a media whore, and I'm using that term correctly in this case, because he uses the media, he manipulates the media, he gets them, and the media they fall into it. They just love it. Mainstream media is just like, oh, you know, they idolize this guy, you know, and even you know, they'll criticize and everything. You know, mainstream media, if you want to, you know, change the way that this president, this administration treats you, then treat them a little bit differently. You know, don't put so much credence in what they have to say all the time. Be critical. You know, be critical. And here you go. This is actually happened today, where the media is starting to revolt. But of course, they'll get slapped down. They'll get their press credentials removed. And actually, that's what they're complaining about right here in de facto with this.
Some of this anyway has to do with, you know, fundamental transformations in the media of which we and other institutions are simply participants, but not we did not create the internet, this administration, and guys,
with Air Force One, the internet had nothing to do with Air Force One. There was constraint.
Hold on, April, go ahead.
Our problem is
Big bad
access.
internet.
You can put out 1 million pictures a day from White House photographer. You bar.
And what I'm saying that it is, and what I'm saying is that we are going to work with, we are going as past White Houses have done. And we hold on, John. And so have we, but just not. Do you think that? Hey guys, if you're telling me that on every flight that President Bush took and every flight that President Clinton took, and hold on, but what I'm saying is, guys, what I'm saying is, we hear you, and I want to address this, and I want to work with photographers to improve that situation and see if we can be responsive to your concerns. All I'm noting in answer to Michael's question is that this is part of a bigger transformation that's happening out there that's driven by the ability of everyone to post anything on the internet free of charge, so that you don't have to buy that newspaper or subscribe to that wire service to see that photograph. And that's true, Ann. It's true. Yeah.
The internet had nothing to do. The internet had nothing on Air Force One. Mm-hmm. We understand there were constraints in Africa on the ground, but the internet had nothing to do on Air Force One when you had a large group of reporters in the pool, photographers there as well, who could have come up with Pete Souza to the front of Air Force One and taken a couple of pictures. Maybe not as many as Pete Souza did, but we were not allowed.
And then you can post as many as you want.
Yes, but you
I
could
hear
have
you,
allowed
April.
us
I hear you, and I'm saying that those are the kind of issues we're gonna address, and I want to work with the Correspondents Association and the photographers to see if we can be responsive in a way that allows them more of the access that they seek, and obviously also allows us to operate the way every other White House has operated.
When you started talking about this, they were letting you know that they're here. Did you hear their
I always
clicks?
know they're here.
No, but I mean, seriously, did you hear their clicks while they were taking pictures of you while you were speaking about this issue? Mm-hmm. Did you hear them? That was their form of saying, we are here.
I get that, April. Thank you. Brianna.
We are here. You know, and that's the thing is that, you know, this administration, when they were here in Chicago, they were known for their manipulation of the media. They were known for their overall control of what was said about them. You know, this is an administration that when President Obama, Senator Obama was running, his Bill Ayers and his cronies and the guys that, take the marching orders from this president, I think the president takes marching orders from these guys. These are very sophisticated individuals who have strong ties to the New World Order and to the Bilderbergers and all of that. They publicly destroyed anyone who opposes this president. They have goon squads that go out, internet media goon squads that go out on the internet now, and they literally threaten, they literally harass, they literally, persecute those that say anything derogatory about this president and this administration. More so than any other administration prior to. And that's the problem, is that, we talk about, the law might be noble at this point with this president, but then when you go 4 presidents down, it might not be so noble. And that's what this administration has done. They've taken the laws that were passed in other administrations, and they've turned them into, basically their Gestapo, their GRU. And that's what they're doing. And so the press, they're culpable in this. And it's kind of funny because they're now playing the battered wife syndrome. Oh, woe is me, but they allowed it to happen. They promoted it. Battered wife. The first time you get hit, you should be out the door. You shouldn't be coming back either. Because all that does is tell them that, oh, it's okay. And, and I don't want to make in light of a very serious subject, but that's how this is. That's how this media is that, the media has been consistently, when President Barack Obama, when Senator Barack Obama and Senator Hillary Clinton were running, they did the same thing. They actually loaded the media onto the plane, took the plane off, and then said, oh, by the way, the president or the senator is not on the plane. So much for transparency. As both senators were whisked away and had a secret meeting with the Bilderbergs in Virginia. Yeah. This is not a presidency of open media. This is a presidency of controlled medium. And like I said, a lot of people are like, well, Jeff, you're a little podcaster, what we were talking about earlier. What was that going to do? Look, you can't say the things that we say. Now, granted, we got a very small audience. We're growing leaps and bounds. We are. We're growing. We're exploding. We're going to put on a 24/7. Think about this. 24/7 Patriot News Network. 24/7. And it's going to be basically, and it's not, one guy controlling it. It's basically what we're doing is that we are reaching out to other podcasters. We are reaching out to other radio show hosts. And we are saying, look, we'll refeed your show so you can reach even more. But can you imagine the power of that? 24/7, 365 days a year. If we're not broadcasting a show, we are broadcasting an event. Now, you tell me, you think that's not going to get the ire? You don't think that's not going to throw us into the stratosphere of alternative media? Do you not think that we're going to get harassed? Do you not think things are going to be said? Things are already being said. Things are already being said. When I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and I do listen to him every once in a while, it just happened. And it just happened the day that I was listening to him. He made a, kind of a private message. It was I felt like it was a private message. It was a message I needed to hear. When you want to talk about controversial things, you become controversial. And if you don't have the stomach, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. Shouldn't be in this business. And that was a message that I needed to hear. And that was where I needed to gut check. If I'm either going to do this or if I'm going to really do this. And I think you guys know the direction I'm going with PatriotFB.com, with bringing in a 24/7. You know, we've already got 5 other podcasters and radio show. We got, radio show hosts that are going to be broadcasting. We're just setting the servers up now and getting all the logistics worked out. And when we're not broadcasting shows or doing refeeds of the show, and we will have an on-demand system where you can listen to shows at any time. You don't actually have to listen to the feeds. But when we're not doing that, we're going to be playing events, freedom rally events, having speakers, playing educational audio, 24/7, 365 days a year. We're going to take over mainstream media. We are. Mark my words. In 5 years, we will be a source for timely, accurate, and unbiased news. That's where we're going with this. And it's not because we want to stroke our egos or build a media empire. No. We want to get the message out. And the message has to be broadcast 24/7, 365 days a year. We can't take a break. We can't rest. We cannot ever afford that opportunity to get the message out there. We can't. Because they're blasting it at us, and they're blasting it through movies, books, TV shows, their radio shows, shows that you think are conservative in nature. You'll find out when you scratch them down and you actually break them down, they're beholden to the corporations. And I'm a firm believer, and I'll tell you this. You're either a slave in America, you can choose. You're either a slave to the corporations or you're a slave to the government. But you're still a slave. Now, there are certain individuals such as myself. I'm a free man. I am free. I'm not beholden to my government, and I'm definitely not beholden to some corporation. As much as they try to feed that crap into my head, as through TV, and you ought to look a certain way, or you ought to eat a certain way, or you need to do this, or you need to do, that's all that corporate media that's driving. That's I'm not going to live up. It ain't me. It's not who I am. And I'm sure in the heck not going to be a slave to the government. I'll follow the Constitution and the laws of the Constitution, but that's where it ends. And if I go to jail, then so be it. But I'm not going to give up my free speech. I'm not going to give up my Second Amendment rights. I'm not going to give up those rights that are afforded to me by my Creator under the Constitution of the United States. I ain't going to do it. And they can manipulate it and they can twist it. For every law, if you think about it, for every law, there's 2 sides. That's why you have a defense and a prosecution. And both sides can argue one way or the other effectively. There's always 2 sides to a law. If the law was absolute, then, and the only absolute laws I know are the 10 Commandments. Those are absolute laws. God's pretty clear. God's pretty clear. Can't argue both sides of those. You ever notice that? But in man-made laws, there's always 2 sides. That's why you have lawyers. That's why they legal on both sides. So, that's where we're going with this. If anybody had a doubt, that's why we're putting so much energy and so much talent and everything into the PatriotFB.com. We want to help fellow patriots. We want to have a place where people can come and get real news, timely news, and accurate news. Not the news that's controlled by some editor, not the news that's controlled by an agenda. And I know some of you out there will say, well, you're a patriot, so you have an agenda. Well, yeah, I do. I have an agenda waking people up. And I don't have to create the news. All I have to do is push away the crud that mainstream media puts out there. That's all I have to do. I don't have to make this stuff up. We don't make things up. That's why if you go to Zot.Euro, that's Zot Press, we'll put a link up there. Every article that we talk about, everything that we talk about on this show, we source. And we keep a history of it, a library of it, forever. So that way, if there's any questions or concern, we can always go back to it. But we'll share that with you. You show me a news agency that does that, that actually gives you their sources. Now, obviously, we have some things that are given to us in confidence, but we still source it. We source it through other means. You know, we source it through other means. Well, that's where we're going. That's what this is all about. That's the movement that we're a part of. You know. But what a show. Prepper Recon started it off for us. We had Josh join in. You know, it's amazing. You know, I was just thinking, it just hit me. You know, they were complaining about the press photographers weren't allowed in Air Force One. You know, that's what they were complaining about. The press photographers were kind of, I'm wondering if there was a little spat going on. You know, as we referred to earlier in the show, this president acted like a college kid on spring break. It was demeaning. It was offensive. It was trife. Throwing out the big words. It was unpresidential. But what do you expect? What do you expect from this man? He was on vacation. We'll never take a vacation here at the Midnight Patriot Radio Show podcast. We're going to be here 24/7, 365 days a year. Join us on the web at www.themidnightpatriot.com or on our new site, patriotfb.com. Starting next week, we will be doing the starting up our broadcast. As we wind down tonight, I just want to tell everybody thank you. Thank you for spending your evening with us. If there's anything we can do, please feel free to join us at patriotfb.com. Let me know, shoot me a note and everything. As we wind down, I just want to tell all of our listeners, I appreciate you. May God bless you. You will be in my prayers. For one of my friends who got some bad news today or going through a trying time, you will be in one of my prayers as well. Help is on the way. I will make sure that I can help you any way I can. May God bless you. May God keep you until we talk again tomorrow, my friends. Good night.